There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. And by my side, wait, over here, you know who she is. That's baby princess. Mikey cannot make it tonight. He got held up at work. It is what it is, folks. But you got me. Good old Tommy is here. And I do have a special co-host joining me. He is currently having some camera issues, so hopefully he gets that situated. And that is the King Aramis, and he will be here shortly, hopefully, to join me tonight on Friday Night Lights. By the way, Friday Night Lights, your go-to Friday Night Lights for Bills content, the only Friday Night Lights, I should say. So let's get to the chat real quick. And I want to apologize. I was running a little late. It is what it is. I try not to run late, but things do happen. Daniel, what up? Go Bills. Go Bills. Beth in the building. What up, Beth? Let's see here. Man, did my voice going, hey? Sorry. The Trek. What up, Trek? Hey, Trek, you ain't going to be happy tonight. I got something for you tonight, man. Remember last week, we were talking about the receivers of the Buffalo Bills, the all-time wide receivers, and you didn't have my boy Eric Moulds even in your top 10, which is, man, very surprising. But I got something for you tonight that SI put out. But, yeah, and that's me. Look. Oh, damn, more Aramis. Yeah, more Aramis. That is right. More Aramis tonight for you. Maybe. I don't know. He's messing with his camera, so I have no idea. So, oh, wait. I heard the beep. And that means my man's here. I still think he's messing with the camera, so we'll see. How long till the Allen talk? Can we start now? Happy to see you, Tommy. Yes. Listen, Allen's the man, right? So, I do got a question for Aramis once Aramis gets his camera situated. I was thinking about it today while I was having lunch and listening to Post-Podium podcast. And Aramis, you can join me whenever you got that option, I think. There he is, my man right there. What up, man? How you doing, brother?
Somebody said, oh, damn, more Aramis.
yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
I don't know yet, man. I don't know.
It has to be good. Let's see, Mr. Fulton, the most interesting man in the chat. Hello, Tommy. Next month on July 20th is my big 26th birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, brother. I hope you get everything you want. Look, this is crazy. I don't know if you ever seen the Trek Reviewer in your podcast come on the chat once in a while. Trek Reviewer, no? Okay, so Trek Reviewer, man, you got to go check out my man Post Podium Podcast, Aramis and Keys. Go ahead and go over there when you get a chance. But he thinks Molds he's in his top 10, but not in his top 5. Very surprising. I do got a list that SI put out that I'm going to go through where they have the Bills' top 10 receivers, and number 1 isn't Andre Reed. So very interesting. And I got to say, I kind of agree with him. But I do got a question for you real quick to start the show.
All right.
That I got to thinking. So when it's all said and done, if the Bills do not win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen in the Josh Allen era, how will this era, the Allen era, be remembered?
It depends on who you ask, because if you ask the people that love what they're seeing currently, they're going to say multiple, or I guess they would categorize it as AFC East dominance. You know what I'm saying? The era of dominating the AFC East. Nobody in the AFC East could touch the Buffalo Bills during that time. If you ask people who think like I think, it's a waste of Josh Allen's career, in my opinion. Absolute waste. You had quite possibly the most athletic or most athletically gifted quarterback of all time, and a top 3, I'd say a top 1 quarterback in his era. To me, there's nobody better than Josh, and he couldn't get a championship here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Yes, Beth, I'm following you, by the way.
I just got to think of that. It's just a good question because, like I said, right now, and I guess this falls on what me and you believe about the coaching, about McDermott, and why we feel like the championship window eventually will be closed, guys. Like, it's just reality, right? Like, it's very tough in the NFL to keep that window open for a long period of time. And you have to eventually make a change to get to that championship, or at least attempt or try. Or, I mean, you got to do something different.
Yeah.
And while you have Josh Allen, who is not one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback in the league, you got to make it happen. You have to make it happen. And if we don't, and it's all said and done, I feel like the people that were standing firm behind McDermott and all that will really look back and go, maybe we should have made that change. Maybe maybe after year 13, like, there has to be a point, right? You guys get where I'm going, right? Like, for instance, like the 90 Bills, like when we look back at that team, the Super Bowl run, what I say on that run was, and I'm honest as far as me. I say, you know what? We should have won versus the Giants, right? We overlooked them. The team went out but we should have won, right? Like, I'll look back, but the rest of the Super Bowls, guys, I got to be honest with you, they were just better teams. Right? Dallas was a really, really, really good team, and we were too, but they were better, and that's just facts. Washington just was an awesome, unbelievable team that year. It's just a fact. So we had an opportunity. We lost the one we should have won, and that's the only thing I look back on. I don't look back and go, man, the coach sucked. We should have changed Marv Levy. No, Marv Levy kept getting us there. It's just, we fell short. To better teams. So we haven't even been there yet, guys, where I can at least go back and go, well, at least Sean McDermott got us there, right? At least Josh Allen, hey, had his chance, but we faced, Philly, who was an unbelievable team. At least I could say that. But if we don't even get to a Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era, like, I can't even look back and go, well, like, we had our chance. We went. You get what I'm saying? Like, twice, just, hey, this team was better or whatever. Like, but guys, we got to get there. We at least got to get there, right? Like, and
it's you know what it is. It's the same way that we look back, or I should say it this way. It's the same way we used to talk about the Bills of the '90s during the drought. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We always looked at it as, man, if they could have just won one, man, that would have made it all better. Dealing with 20 years of never making the playoffs, we could have rested on that one Super Bowl during that 4 Super Bowl run. That's the same way we could possibly end up talking after Josh's career is over. And do we want to deal with that same mental process again?
Right. And the fact is, too, let's be real, guys. Love Jim Kelly, but Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Jim Kelly. And I love Jim Kelly. I do. Guy got us the Super Bowls. Like, he's a great quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame. But Josh Allen he's different. right? He's built different. He's different.
Yep.
And he's an MVP. He's a quarterback that doesn't come around often, like the way he plays this game. So if you can't at least get there with a guy like that, you got to eventually make the change, guys. That's all we're saying. We're not saying, like, I'm not totally shitting on McDermott. I'm just saying there comes a time where eventually you have to go and do a different direction, a new voice, a new scheme, whatever it may be, to correct this, or at least try, do something different, try, or you're going to get the same results. And that's all that I think that me and Aramis and a couple other podcasters try to say, but you got the flip side, and we call it the fanboy media, right? They're content with, we got a winning team. Sean McDermott's a winning coach. So
don't rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat. Don't change. Don't go crazy. Don't go all in. Don't do that. Guys, like I'm telling you, that window doesn't stay open long. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Look at the Lions right now. Out here in Detroit, they're worried. They're not going to even make the playoffs. Like they really are. Radio stations out here, like the real ones, are going, hey, what did we actually do this offseason? Like, did we get even better? So, and they don't have a Josh Allen.
Right.
That's my point, guys. Like, we have that guy. It's time. The time is now. You can't keep fucking around, right? And hoping that McDermott somehow, some way figures it out. It's just, eventually Josh Allen's going to get hurt. Eventually he's going to miss the season. Eventually he's going to have to change the way he plays because he's getting older, and maybe he had an injury, and that slows him down. So I'm just saying, guys, the window it's not closed, but it sure as hell ain't wide the fuck open either. So I'm just saying that. Let's get to some comments. I don't know, Tommy. Lindy Ruff spent 12 years, I think, the Sabres before he got fired and he entered a drought. Now he's back and the team is getting better. See, I don't watch hockey. I just know Sabres have been terrible, right? So, Aramis, you want to comment on that? Because I don't really know.
Yeah, I was reading that right before you read it. And, I mean, look, I think that has been the fear for a lot of fans. But I think the difference between the Sabres and the Bills is the Sabres, they basically let Ryan Miller go. And since that point, the franchise was never the same. It didn't matter if Lindy Ruff left or not. I don't know that much about the Sabres, but I watched them enough to know that was the guy they needed to keep around no matter what, because he's what made the train go. And Josh Allen is that for the Buffalo Bills. If you have Josh Allen on your team, it almost doesn't matter who you have coaching your team. You're going to make the playoffs at the very least. At the very least. And
correct.
I think if people can get to the place where they can understand that Josh has that much power on the field, then it'll be a little bit easier to accept that maybe Sean McDermott isn't so much of the cause of the successes they think it is, or they think he is, rather. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like put Sean McDermott on. Let's just throw a team out there, Tampa, with Baker Mayfield. Does he get to a championship? I don't know. Is he consistently good each year? I don't think so. You know, I'm just throwing that out there. And Baker Mayfield's not even a bad quarterback.
Well, that's a good example. That's a good example too, though, because you have what happened with them. They had a great offensive coordinator in Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen just got a head coaching job now. We got to see how that team does this year, because Baker Mayfield did great with a great offensive coordinator. That changed. And so I think the comparison with that and the Bills is the Bills right up until Daboll left, and let's just say his offense left in 2022. We'll leave it at it, because I know the coach left, but they brought Dorsey up to kind of keep that continuity going with the offense, right? So we'll say Daboll's influence left in 2022. What happened at that point? It got so bad that the offensive coordinator had to be fired. And that's what tends to happen when your head coach is not the cause of your success. We saw right off the bat, the offense couldn't function. The defense was on the field too long. They were getting tired and winded and abused because the teams could run the ball against them. So it really it made the games that much faster and that much more important for our offense. and it just created stress in every area of the team, all because a certain offense left the building.
Right.
That's the power of a great offensive coordinator or a great offense in general compared to a defensive-minded head coach.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Line to me.
Robert coming in saying, to me, McDermott coaching is some of the problem. To me, Bean's drafting has been underwhelming. Bean came from the Panthers, and he drafts like the Panthers. Bean is unrealized challenge. So is the unrealized challenge. So listen, we went back, Aramis, like about a month ago through all the drafts of Bean. So Bean didn't draft in 2017, so we didn't go through that draft. We went through the 2018 and go for it. Really, honestly, there was only really one bad draft where we were like, But honestly, guys, have they been home runs? No. But I will say this. When you're a winning team, you generally don't draft early. You draft later rounds. You're not getting a top 10 every year, right? When you're a winning team, that's how it works, right? So we've been picking 30th or the second round or, late in each round. He's come across he's drafted some really good players. And we talked, I heard you guys talking about Benford in your post podium. Mm-hmm. He's a really good player for 6th round. That is a hit. You can't deny that, right? Like, regardless of how you see him as a top 5, top 10 corner, but he's a good corner.
Player. That's right.
He's a good player. Yeah. And for a 6th round, that's a fucking major hit, right? You're like, that's a win, right? Because if you were to judge it now, you would go, damn, Benford, let's just say hypothetically Benford went in the 2nd round. You go, that's a great pick, 2nd round. Like, we would never complain about that. You go, Benford, 2nd. So, and then he's hit on James Cook 3rd round, right? Because you guys love James Cook. Yep. If we were to redo the draft now, James Cook probably early 2nd round, somewhere around there. Yep. Maybe somebody might say late 1st. It depends, the draft. So he's hit. Spencer Brown, I think, was a 3rd or 4th round pick. Khalil Shakir was, I believe, a 4th round pick or a 5th round pick, something like that. So a lot of late round picks. Has he hit on the early picks out of Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds? Probably not. I would say Ed Oliver is shaky, right? I like Ed Oliver. I do, but he could have picked a better player at that point. But I'll be honest with you, too. Ed Oliver would have been picked somewhere in that. I don't think it was a reach. Like, Ed Oliver was going around that 15 range.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, a lot of people were high on Ed Oliver. So I don't think it was like, I can't believe Brandon Bean drafted this guy. He was a late 1st round, 2nd round pick. Ed Oliver was highly, sought out.
I just wonder how much hype Ed Oliver would have had if Aaron Donald never existed.
True, because he got the Aaron Donald, hey, this guy plays like Aaron Donald. Which, by the way, I hate comparisons because now you're hearing it with Josh Allen. May's Josh Allen. May plays like. No, he doesn't. Just let May build him up. Let May be May. May plays like May. Mahomes plays Mahomes. I hate the whole comparison. It's okay to be like, hey, he kind of has traits like this guy. He has traits like this guy, but no, man. But I get what you're saying. But overall, I'm not really upset with how Bean has drafted. I also think he's drafted how his coach scheme, his defensive scheme works, and what he wants in a player. They all get together. This is not just one guy going, hey, everybody leave me alone. It's going to be my way. I'm drafting that's not how it works. Right. Right. They understand. Right, exactly. Right. So, they got scouts. They do all that. They get with the coordinators. Hey, what do you want? What do you need? Does this guy fit your scheme? They're not going to draft guys that aren't going to fit their scheme for the most part. Now, they did with Khair. That was a mistake, right? That was a mistake. Yeah. And by the way, you don't hear about that as much because why Benford worked out. Yeah. Benford didn't work out. The Khair Elam thing, we'd be talking about it still today. Yep. But it kind of flew. It just went nobody cares because Benford worked out. But let's say that didn't happen, we'd be like, oh, what the fuck, right? Yep. So I don't think Bean's the issue. I just think we need a new. If we don't go to a Super Bowl, guys, if we don't go to a Super Bowl this year, just go. We have to make a change, and it's not going to happen. And I'm going to be yelling, and I'm going to be preaching in the next offseason if that's the case. And I'm going to be, And then me and Aramis are going to see a video package of Sean McDermott with the big scissors cutting the ribbon to open the new stadium. Because that's what's going to happen, right? Like, they didn't do all that video promotion of him with the gold shovel just to go, now you're
right.
Forget that video that you guys saw of him outside the stadium last year with the gold shovels. Now we got a new coach with a new pair of scissors opening. No, it's going to be Sean McDermott no matter what. So Sean McDermott, I've been saying it, Sean McDermott will be the head coach no matter what in 2026. And we'll see what happens there. But knock on wood, right? Let's see what happens this year. Hopefully the team can get it done, man. At least get us there.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Aramis. I just want to go there to at least go, you know what? We got to the Super Bowl, even if we don't win. Of course, that would hurt. But at least I know that Sean McDermott got over that hump, right? He figured something out where I go, you know what? I got a little bit more faith heading into 2026 now. That he figured that part out. They got a taste. Now let's go get it done. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be mad if we lost. Of course, I'd be hurt. You know what I mean? But we got to get there. That's my point. Like, and we just are failing miserably. Right?
Yeah. Like, I think it comes down to what it looks like, you know, because a loss is not a loss is not a loss. They're not all the same. You know what I'm saying?
True,
so if it's you know, in the AFC Championship game, Sean McDermott says F it and just starts getting super aggressive and taking, you know, chances everywhere and letting Josh throw 50 times in that game and not caring about the 3 interceptions he might have. And like, we're going to score 1,000,000 points and we're going to score so many points. It doesn't matter what the defense does. And we're just going to do what it takes to get there. Right. And then he goes to the Super Bowl and tightens up in the second half. It's going to be the same exact thing.
Correct. And then I'll say, well,
it's the same guy.
Not
right?
good.
No, you know, because again, I guess the idea is if you're going to grow, then that growth needs to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? If you're only going to do it in certain spots that you've been in multiple times, all that tells me is you're just more comfortable in this space to be able to be more aggressive. And you don't mind taking those chances because you've been here before. And because you've been here multiple times, you feel like you can get back here. It's not going to be that way in the Super Bowl. He's going to feel like this is my one shot. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want my defense to give up anything. I don't want my offense to give the ball to turn the ball over. We have to be careful. Unfortunately, that's the mindset of a defensive-minded head coach. I'm gonna stand on we need an offensive-minded head coach with Josh Allen till my dying breath. It's going to be true.
I agree. Like I've been saying that. I totally agree. Go out there, get an offensive-minded head coach, and hire a really good defensive coordinator. And if you think it's Babbage and you want to remain with Babbage, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I'm with you. Like, and not only that, like when it comes to McDermott, once again, I'm not saying he's a terrible coach. He's a decent coach. But if you watch games, like really watch the sideline, like when they pan to him, in games that are kind of close, right? Like we go in the first half, you see his demeanor change in the second half, like you're saying. Like when things start tightening up, he like tightens up. He starts to. It's so different. Like go to look at Andy Reid. Go look at some of the top coaches. They're calm. They're cool. Sean McVay, like you know. Hey, like it just seems like they've been there before, done that. We're gonna be all right. McDermott like just seems to crack under pressure, and he starts to make these. He goes away from what he did in what was working, and starts to play like this safe mode. He gets into safe mode. Oh, I don't. You know, let's ease up. Let's try to run the ball now. Let's try to kill the clock now. Let's not. And it just backfires every time. It really does. And if you look at like the Baltimore game, even go look at the Lions game, we're way up. What were we at? 17 points? Something crazy like that. Well in control. Yep. And what does he do? Let's ease off. Let's not make no mistakes now. And you can't do that against good teams. Yep. You could do that against the Jaguars. You could do that against the Giants. You could do that against shit teams, right? Who really they can't answer the bell that can't come back like in a fight, right? Those teams can't. But teams like Philly, teams like Baltimore, right? The better teams, they can come back, the Lions, like that. Before you know it, that 17 is now 3. And you're going, oh, shit.
But you want to know what's really funny about this, though, is if you're really paying attention, you would have seen this same head coach back in 2017, 2018, and 2019 before the Bills were even thinking about an AFC Championship game. I remember watching Sean McDermott in the games against the Patriots outthink himself. And you could see it. Second half getting tight, key third down situations. He gave them too much space, knowing what their offense does underneath, still gave them space, didn't want to get beat over the top, didn't want to give up the huge play, wasn't great against the run. All of these things that become an issue in the playoffs have consistently been an issue in the regular season against teams that Sean McDermott highly respects. And it's been that way. If you go back and watch the games even now, you will see Sean McDermott tighten up in the second half against the Patriots every single game that we played him from 2017 to 2019, Tom Brady's last year there. And that to me was that's how I arrived at this point so fast, where I'm like, McDermott is the issue. Because I was watching it back then, understanding what I was watching in those games. Yeah. And to us in the drought, those games against the Patriots, those were our Super Bowl. Like, okay, all right, we got another shot to beat Goliath. Here we go. And then we get so close, and then all of a sudden, Belichick pulls his Jedi mind trick, and Sean just eats it all up and falls for it, and the game is blown wide open, and now we're stuck. That was our shot. That third down, that was our shot to get him, and momentum swing, game over. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's who he is now. And people are looking at this like, well, he's such a great coach now. How could he be the issue? Well, if you're really watching, you would have seen it back then. Right. I don't know how you missed it. And guys,
I didn't want this to be about McDermott. This isn't a McDermott bashing podcast for 2 hours.
Yes, it is. Don't lie to the people.
It's going to be 3 hours. No, I'm just joking. Listen, we got started. For those that are arriving late and we're like, oh, these fucking guys, McDermott. I always feel like that when people like go to click in, right? Like 10 minutes into the, like, oh, fucking McDermott, fucking 5. Like, these fucking guys at it again. Get on with me. Shut up. But the reason why we're talking about it, or why McDermott came up, is because I asked a simple question. And for those who are arriving late, and you can answer in the chat, is if we don't get to a Super Bowl, and I'm going to say if we don't even get to one, not even win one, if we don't make it to a Super Bowl in the Josh Allen era, how will that era be remembered by you? Like, you will look back and go, what? What will you say? Will you say, oh, it was fun? Hey, it was great. It was awesome watching Josh. And I'll respect anything you guys say. It's an opinion. I'm not going to bash you for whatever you say. If your opinion is your opinion, if that's how you feel, then that's fine. I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? But let us know. I'm very curious in the chat, like how you feel when all said and done, when everything's done, if we do not at least make it to a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. What's your thoughts? Like, what are you going to be like? What are you remembering in that time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think could have been different? What should have been different? What could have been different? What could have gotten us to a Super Bowl? Like, and for me and Aramis, and that's why we're talking about McDermott, it's coaching. Like, I really feel like that's been the reason why. And once again, not bashing McDermott. I think McDermott has done a fine job to get us out of the gutter. Right, which we were. By the way, I made a video, Aramis, years ago in 2021 or the end of the early 2021 offseason, something like that. Right when we made that championship game, we lost to the Chiefs. And I'm like, hey, you guys need to respect me and McDermott for getting this team where it is. Don't be upset. Like, these guys done a lot. Like, we lived through this, guys. I'm with you guys. I've been a fan since '89. So, like, the drought years were terrible. Like, so I was all for him. But guys, we're in 2025 now. Like, my thinking has totally changed. Like, 2021, I'm like, okay, we got to do better, right? Like, that's the mindset you should have in general, in life, and anything, right? Like, okay, I accomplished this. I got a goal, right? And your goal is this, right? Okay, let's have a winning record, right? That's your first goal. Right? Okay. Boom, we achieved that. Okay, our next goal, let's win the East. Boom, we got that. And I'm cool with that. Next goal, what? Win, get to a division game or get to a championship game. Boom, we got there. Mm-hmm. But we haven't done anything after that. Our next goal should be what, guys? A Super Bowl. Yep. Like, that's the goal. It shouldn't just be like, well, we're a good team, we're winning. Like, why if we change it, all hell could break loose, everything could change, we could be terrible. Like, it's a bad way of thinking. It's a bad way of thinking because you should want more as a fan. Like, you deserve it. We deserve it. Everyone deserves it. And, the Lombardi
real quick
line. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know what people have settled for, and I don't even think they realize it? What we're experiencing now and what fans are settling for is the equivalent to, I have a job I love, but I never get a raise a day in my life. Inflation happens around me. The economy continues to grow. Everything gets more expensive. Cost of living keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And I never get a raise. Eventually, bills are going to start piling up, being overdue. Eventually, things are going to break down around me, and I'm not going to be able to fix it. Eventually, my lifestyle is going to have to change. I'm going to have to take a step down on pretty much everything that I own or use because I can't afford the better things. This is where we're at. And I relate the hardship to the salary cap situation because now here we have a Corvette in freaking James Cook, and even if we wanted to give him $15 million, how the hell are we doing that right now?
He ain't.
You know what I'm saying? Even if, think about that for a second. Right. Even if, let's say the running back era came back and everybody widely accepted the value of running backs. Let's just say that existed. Nobody has to agree with that point. Let's just say that existed. If that was the case, the Bills can't even be like, you know what? We love James Cook. Give him the money. They can't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were barely able to keep the guys that they got now, and then it took the best of team-friendly deals in order to get all these guys done.
Yeah.
Like, thank God these guys didn't think better of themselves, or we would have been in serious trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. By settling for what we have now is
by settling.
I don't need a raise.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm content. Like I'm and some people are. And that's fine. By the way, I'm not knocking anyone for that because I used to be like that a long time ago, Aramis. Like I remember years ago, my friend got a new phone and I still had like the old school, like touch, like not even a touch screen. I had like the flipped open. Oh, it was old phone, right? Yeah. But I was so used to it. And my buddy was like, bro, I'm going to give you my touch screen. I don't need it no more. And I hated it. Why? Because it was different. It was a change. And I was like, ugh. All right. I'm like, just give me back what I just want to know what I know. But if I would have just stuck with it, right, or made the change and just kept with, I would have been like, oh, it is better. Oh, things can get better. Wow. Like, right? So I get it, right? Let's see here. Don't y'all think? Yeah. By the way, he didn't even make the top 10 coaching list or whatever coming into the season. But I don't pay attention much to that stuff. I'll be honest with you. A lot of that stuff is whatever. It's just their list. Yeah. Do I think McDermott's a top 10 coach? If he's a top 10, he's a 10. He's barely squeaked in there. I'll be honest with you guys. But I wouldn't be mad if somebody did put him at 10. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's ridiculous. But I also wouldn't be upset if someone's like, oh, he's the 11th best coach. Yeah. At the same time, I don't think he's 15 or 20 or 30. Like, I don't think he's terrible. Yeah. But I think if he's a top 10, he just snuck in there. Because there's a lot of Super Bowl winning head coaches on that list. If you guys saw the list or whatever. Spin. Come on, you brought Aramis on top. You knew exactly what you were doing from the get-go. Let's bring in the McDermott bashing. Oh, he calling you the king of McDermott? Yeah, he is king here. Yeah, we're the I don't know, man. I don't know. Aramis and me, we're. I don't know if he's. I feel like I'm kind of. I don't know. We could be. We're on the same. You know, I dialed it back a little bit because I had some comments on my YouTube like, "Is that all you talk about?" McDermott.
Yeah, it's a wonder I got all these likes and follows and stuff. It's all I talk about, man. Sorry.
Right. I'm just gonna I'm gonna open a brand new YouTube channel. Just Fire McDermott is gonna be the YouTube channel name. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be every day.
Imagine what that page is gonna look like if he actually gets fired.
Oh my God, you were right. Yeah, you were right. How do you lose a Super Bowl when you go 20-0? You don't, and I hope that's the case. I love Scott Blakely. He's very optimistic, and there's nothing wrong with that. You should be optimistic. Yeah. As long as you got Josh out, to be honest with you, should be optimistic, right? You should be. Bean and McDermott failed Josh. They're failing. I want to say failed, yeah, because it's not over, right? It's not. Josh is still young, he's still in his prime. But have they failed him to this point? I don't know if they totally failed him, but I feel like they haven't really done enough to also help him, right? They did in the beginning. Let me rewind. Let me dial that back because that's wrong in a way. I felt like in 2019 they brought in John Brown, Cole Beasley. That was a start. Like and there was nothing wrong with those players, by the way. Love Cole Beasley, John Brown. We got him at the tail end of his career, but he still had a little bit of juice left. Mm-hmm. That was to me, I'll be honest with you, because Josh was still kind of learning and kind of finding his way. Yep. It was good. Those players were perfect. A veteran in John Brown, a veteran in Cole Beasley, because the Coles was a veteran at the time, considered a veteran. And then in 2020, he made a big trade. He brought in Stephon Diggs. Like, you can't really say like they haven't done anything because that was a big trade. 100%. It was a first round. I mean, we potentially could have had Justin Jefferson, though they didn't know Justin Jefferson would be on the board we were going to pick. So it was a roll of the dice. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't mind that. Yep. I wish he would do more of that because you have to in this sport. You have to in sports in general. Sometimes you're gonna strike out. Sometimes that roll of the dice is not gonna work out. But if you don't try it, you never know. And I'll be honest, I thought the Diggs did work out. It did. He was fine. There was nothing wrong with Stephon Diggs here. He put up 1,000 yards each season. So they did help out Josh in the beginning, and then they kind of were like, oh, that's good enough. And that was the problem. Because you should always want to do better, no matter what. Even if your offense is number one. Yep. Okay, so what? Let's add more. Keep adding more. Like, why not? Right? And that's the problem here. I felt like they just felt like, oh, that's good enough. Stephon Diggs, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Stephon Diggs, like, now we'll just concentrate on defense. We'll just do this. And that was the problem. They kind of like said, Josh, do your thing now. That's good enough. And it's not. It's not. You always got to be better. And the offensive line was shit, by the way, in those seasons. So they finally got the clue, started fixing the offensive line, and I feel like they're maybe turning the tide again and maybe understanding you got to help them out. But the problem is now you're tight with the cap. Now you're drafting late because you're always winning, so you can't get an awesome receiver and drafting 30th. Like, it's just not going to happen. Right. So we'll see. But I wouldn't say they failed him. I would say they're not helping as much as they should. Yeah, because I thought, like I said, I think it's a little bit, I feel like they helped them, and at the same time, they haven't done much lately, right? So it's kind of like, but I think they're turning the tide a little bit now, but we'll see, when it comes to that.
I think this is probably the nicest thing that I can say about both of those guys, and I probably like Bean a lot better than I like McDermott, but I think both men were put in a position to do things that they were not qualified to do at the time. For a first-time head coach to come in with as much power as he did, and for Brandon Beane to come in with as much power as he did, and I mean that sarcastically because Beane came in with almost none as a general manager. If you watch I've referenced this a lot. If you watch the Tyler Dunn podcast where he had Jim Monos on, he talks a lot about the process of how the Buffalo Bills draft players and how they did it when he worked there. Very enlightening stuff. And to cap all that off, they're both supposed to be on equal ground, both reporting to an owner who has never managed a football team ever, and doesn't have anybody in the building that can, really. And I'm talking about when he first bought the team and all that kind of stuff. At the time when he hired Sean and Bean, he had 2 years of experience as an owner. That's it.
Right.
And his initial experience was, oh my God, Rex Ryan is a tire fire. Why? Because we don't have a quarterback. But past all that, he's doing all this weird stuff in press conferences that don't fit the city of Buffalo, and everybody thinks it's weird, and nobody wants him here anymore because the team ain't winning. So all of this kind of builds up into this pimple head of these guys were thrust into a place that they had no business being in at that time, and this is the best that they can do. And do I feel sorry for them in that fashion? Yeah, because they're expected to be great now, and neither one of them, let's be honest, neither one of them really knows how to do that. If they had never had Josh Allen and they were stuck riding with Nathan Peterman through his career, I think they both would have been fired by now. And I think just about everybody watching this right now could shake their head yes and say, yeah, Nathan Peterman was probably that bad. They would have been fired in year 3, which would have been, 2018? You know what I'm saying? So that to me makes it clear, like, these guys we should not at this point have this expectation of them to suddenly get it and the light goes off and they're drafting different, they're signing different players, they're they're doing different things on the field. I'm not surprised that it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. I mean, once again, we're a good team. Like, we have good players here. There's no questioning what this team can do, how far they can go. I mean, golly, they got us favored in every game, right, this season, which is wild. So the expectations are high there, and they normally are. I'll be honest with you, and I think a lot of people learned a lesson last year. Critics, some Bills podcasters, I'm not saying you, where when we lost Stephon Diggs, oh, this team's going to be shit. We're going to see what's going to happen. We're not going to see. I wasn't. So, and the reason why, and it's a lesson learned, really. I mean, I don't know if and I'm not saying you should whatever, but Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen and Tom Brady did it. And yes, granted, he had Gronkowski, but outside of that, I mean, they shuffled through players left and right there, wide receivers and other players and you got a great quarterback. He can make it work. He can make it work with anybody. And I felt like going into last year, I'm like, I don't understand, because we're going to win the East. Like, I still didn't trust the Jets. I think the Dolphins are still a hot mess, and the Patriots are still trying to get their act together. So that's why I felt like we are still a playoff team. We still can be a dangerous team as long as you got Josh Allen. And we've been saying this for now 43 minutes, basically, about how dangerous this team is, not because of our head coach, not because he's this, Sean McDermott's going to tighten that defense up and ain't nobody scoring on us. No, it's because Josh Allen is that damn good. He's that dynamic. He's electric, right? And he's going to make everyone around him better, right? And that's real.
Wait, Tommy, check this out real quick.
Yeah.
You want to see Spin die and come back to life? Watch this.
Yeah.
Hey, Spin, I had the Bills going 16-1 this season. I still got them going 16-1. What you say about that?
Damn. Really? Okay.
Watch them die and come back to life real quick.
I think I had did we do our I don't know if me and Mikey did our regular season yet, but I maybe we did. I have to go back with Mikey and check, but I think if we did, I might have had us losing 1, but I'm not sure. But realistically, guys, I'll be on. I always say this. Realistically, like 3 losses is normal, right, for a really, really good team, because it's hard. It's hard to win in the NFL. You're gonna have some games where you have that just bad game, right? It just doesn't come together the way you wanted it to, right? It happens. So Will it? We'll see. You know, I really, what I'll say about this season is how it starts. If they beat the Ravens on week 1, they can potentially go, you know, undefeated. Potentially. Now, we have a lot of tough games, by the way. So I don't want to be like, oh, it's Homer Channel. Yeah, right. No. We still play Philly. We still play the Chiefs. We have a lot of tough games on the schedule, but they're at home, which is an advantage for us.
We got 2 Thursday night games.
Exactly. So that's the reason why. But once again, I'm not saying it's for sure. Oh yeah, we could potentially lose some games. Of course, it's the NFL. There's only been one team that's been undefeated, right? For a whole, by the way, Super Bowl. The Patriots did it, but they didn't win a Super Bowl. So I'm talking about a complete season. So it's not an easy thing to do. So let's see here. Pretty sure they would draft someone else. By the way, I'm on this kick thing and I'm getting all these these stupid things, man. Bots.
They love
me. Oh, they love me. Well, because I'm on kick. Aramis, it's about time you got some sense knocked into you. Broken clock is right 2 times a day. Dang. Spin is the Ryan Leaf.
You got to read that in the spin voice.
Shrek says spin is the Ryan Leaf.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. All right, so let's get into it. We've been here a little bit. So I wanted to get into some stuff today. I don't know if you guys are checking the bottom of the screen. I tried to tell you guys what I'm doing. For the most part, we don't necessarily always make it to everything, but I do want to say we do have tonight's Real Men of Genius video clip. I'm going to be doing these at the end of each podcast. So look for the Real Men of Genius. And if you guys don't remember it, well, you're in for a treat. So tonight, let's pop up the first thing. Mikey's NFL news. Obviously, Mikey's not here, so we'll have to do that another night when Mikey's here to do Mikey's NFL news. So let's get to the first thing. Let's see here. So the 2025 Bills roster questions concerned for the defense, Aramis. So here we go. Let's get to it. So, all right. Of course, there's pop-ups. Love pop-ups. All right. Yep. Can you see that, everybody? All right, good. Hope you can. Can Joey Bosa stay healthy? Well, right now he's not. Bosa was one of Buffalo's major offseason acquisitions.
When did this article come out?
right. This week. Signing the former Charger to a 1-year, $12 million deal. Bosa has missed substantial time. Really? I didn't know that. Dressing in only 28 of 50 games over the past 3 seasons. The hope is that Bosa can return to his double-digit sack output. Probably not. A figure he hasn't hit since 2021. And my co-host, Mikey, is super excited. His tenure in Buffalo has started monthly. He has already missed time. Oh, wow. During OTAs with calf injury. Still, his skill set is worth the gamble for Buffalo. With Bosa joining a 4-3 defensive scheme in which he thrived early in his career. Good things could happen for the veteran if he's on the field. All right, Aramis, what's your thoughts on Joey Bosa? First of all, what's your thoughts on the signing? What's your thoughts about that?
I hated the signing. I hated the money. I thought you could have easily taken some of that money and saved it for better draft picks. You could have used it to get Elijah Moore onto the team earlier. That way you didn't have to go and cuss out those radio show hosts. And everybody probably would have been a little bit happier because you got an actual, route runner with speed on the team. Which, look, I think when you look at Joey Bosa's contribution to the Chargers, 3 of his first 5 seasons, he had double-digit sacks.
Right.
But the double-digit sacks weren't the elite, 14 to 19 range.
Right.
You know what I mean? That we see the TJ Watts and the Von Miller's in his prime and some of those guys get. Joey Bosa's sacks were, I think it was 2 seasons of 12 and 1 10 sack season. And really that was it. He might have had 1 season that was a little higher than 12, but it wasn't by much. I mean, realistically, he's he's a good pass rusher, even in a 4-3 system, but he's more of a power rusher. He's not that elite bendy guy with speed that's going to be able to get to the quarterback very quickly. He's got to win with volume rushes, almost in the same way that a Greg Rousseau does. So basically what you did is you went and got out, you went out and you got another pass rusher just like Greg Rousseau, just older and injury prone. That's basically what you brought in. And
so, yeah, sorry to cut you off. So I was going to tell you about the sacks. So because you're talking about the sacks. So his rookie year, he had 10.5. Mm-hmm. Second season, 12.5. Third year, 5.5. I'm guessing he got hurt there.
Yep.
2019, he had 11.5. 2020, he had 7.5. 2021, he had 10.5. 2022, 2.5. 2023, 6.5. 2024, 5. So early on, I would say the first 4 out of 5 years was good. Yep. Wasn't like unbelievable, but those aren't bad. I would take that in a heartbeat if one of our guys could be that consistent 4 out of 5 years.
If we drafted him, not
right.
signing him for 15 million.
Drafting. Is that I'm talking about a draft, like a guy that we right. Where you should, even if we signed a guy and he gave us 4 out of 5, 10 plus. You know what I mean? I'll be fine with that. It don't matter because we don't get that here. So either way, I'd be 4 out of 5 years at over 10 sacks. I'd be fine. But here's the problem, like you're saying, injury. So if out of 4 out of 5, okay, and then boom, it takes a major hit, 7.5. Then you bounce back at 10.5, but 2.5, 6.5, 5. I mean, and he's missing all that time. So go ahead, continue. So I was just going on with that.
Yeah. So I mean, for what Bosa is going to do for your defense, you have to keep in mind how this defense is set up to function schematically. It's a defense that needs the down lineman to be the reason that the offense does not work, which means those defensive linemen need to be able to win consistently, right? The typical way that a base 4-3 defense works, or even a nickel defense works, is your left end traditionally is your power rusher, your edge setter. Your right end is your speed rusher, your pass rusher, so to speak. And then you have a 1-tech defensive tackle and a 3-tech defensive tackle. I would say over the last maybe 7 to 9 years, the NFL has kind of gone away from the 1-tech and 3-tech sort of thing. They've tried to mesh the two as much as possible and just have pass rushers in the middle. But the defensive end positions have largely remained the same. You see in a lot of base 4-3 builds, you've got that right end being that speed rusher guy, and you've got that left end being your edge setter and your power rusher and stuff like that. So, I think a lot of the things that the Bills have done, Joey Bosa is kind of prime example of the Bills not staying with the grain in terms of what the rest of the NFL does that works. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like the Bills have this thing in their mind that they're smarter than everybody else and they can do their own thing and it'll just work because Josh Allen became so great. You know what I mean? Right. It's like Josh Allen gives them such a distorted sense of confidence that they can do whatever because it just works because Josh Allen is making it all work. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why the signing really bothered me, because it's like, here's another thing that they think is going to be great because Josh Allen is winning games.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a super cheap signing either. I'm not saying like it was way crazy expensive, but I mean, if you take his signing, if you take Hoyt, which by the way, Hoyt could turn out to be okay, but he's suspended.
Right.
Okay. Almost half the year. And you take whoever the other guy's name is, John B. I can't even pronounce the name. If you take some of these guys out of the equation, like what we paid for them, they could have went out and got a better player for the amount of money they spent on those 3 or 4 or 5 1-year guy that's not going to do anything. Who's hurt?
Hendrickson.
That's what I'm saying, right? So what is the point? Like that bothers me more about being the drafting or anything, because I feel like I feel like he gets a bad rap on the draft. I feel like the draft's been okay in my opinion, but the off season, I would say, has been where I'm not super satisfied with being on certain free agents. I hate the 1-year deals. I can't stand them. Because I'll give you a great example. So we got Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is going to be good for us this year. Guess what? He's here 1 year. So if they don't sign him or extend him somewhere in the middle of the season, okay, guess what, guys? He can have a great season and see ya. Bye. Just like that. Or, right? So it's like, what do we do? Like, I just don't understand that some of these signings, I get that you got to fill rosters. I understand that. But you also have the draft. You also have UDFAs that you could fill rosters with. We do it all the time.
Yep.
Guys, not a big deal. I just hate that they continue to like do that. And then they get Bosa, of all people, the highest paid of all the free agents that we got here, who already is hurt. Already. And somebody in here said, like, bubble wrap him. And I kind of agree. And the only way this will work, I'll be honest with you, is if they kind of do. If they limit the hell out of his snap count, big time, and just go, you know what, fuck it. Let's just unleash this dude in the playoffs. And if he gets hurt, who gives a fuck? Right? You know what I mean? Like, because they know the deal. It's a 1-year signing. It's not like they signed this guy like a Von Miller thing, or he got hurt. Oh, fuck, we're stuck with this guy 3 weeks. Like, that's how I would do it, because if you unleash him during this long season, the chances of Joey Bosa going into the playoffs healthy, guys, is slim. It's fucking slim. So let your young guys, Jackson, and let the other guys, Epinesa, let them kind of take more snaps. I'll be honest, take more. Who cares? I know a lot of fans will be like, oh, it's terrible. Joe, we paid this guy. No, fuck that shit. Like, if he's what he is and he's healthy, okay, cool. Like, he could, okay, use him for the playoffs, because that's what we need him for. So I'm okay with if they do that, which we'll see. We'll see. But once again, I'm not crazy about the signing. It's a 1-year deal. I get it. It's not the end of the world, but we could have used the money elsewhere, right? We didn't have to get. Not only that, they knew about the suspensions on top of that. So they know these guys weren't going to be active. So I don't get it sometimes what we're doing. But it is what it is. All right, let's get to the next thing. Says we're an hour in. All right. And I won't read all these. I'll just kind of skim through them. How will the interior of the defensive line play out? So I won't read it, but what do you think?
It depends. It depends. I mean, the TJ Sanders draft pick really makes me nervous, because the idea for Ed Oliver was to put a guy next to him that could take up 2 blockers.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't necessarily have to be a guy that is just a one tech. If you look at Jordan Davis can rush the passer, but he's also big enough to take up 2 blockers as well. And that's what Ed Oliver needs more than anything else. He needs good pass rush on the outside, so and a big guy next to him to take up 2 blockers, so that he can have all the one-on-ones all day long. He can eat
right
10 times out of 10 if he's got one-on-one. Like, that's how good he is. He cannot be stopped one-on-one. There might be some occasions where, because the offensive line had a great call, they were in position and gave him a hard time, but that's not going to last the whole game. In my estimation, Ed Oliver is good enough to come away with a sack and a half, 2 sacks a game if he had one-on-ones all game long.
Somebody that can move bodies next to him.
So
yeah, I get you.
For me, I think the TJ Sanders pick is more of a trying to reinforce the Ed Oliver pick, so to speak. We're not going to focus on getting an elite, pass rushing defensive tackle that can also take up 2 blockers. We're just going to get a pass rushing defensive tackle to come in and back up our pass rushing defensive tackle. Meanwhile, our best pass rushing defensive tackle that can take up 2 blockers is now 33, 34.
Daquan, yeah. Who I think is it was a shell of himself. By the way, I don't even know if he makes the team. I think he does, just because he's our biggest guy.
Yeah,
right. He's not our biggest. You know what I mean? He's our vet, knows the defense. The rookie we brung in, or let's say last year, Carter, I'm not sure if he's ready yet for that role. He could be. We'll see. But I don't see it now. But maybe my opinion will change when I see him in preseason. I'm sure they'll give him that opportunity like they said they were. The guy we drafted, having a brain fart. Who did we draft this year? The big guy out of Kentucky.
Deion Walker.
Deion Walker, my only issue with him is the height. Normally, your defensive linemen need to be a little bit smaller than that to get low. That's my only problem. He's top heavy. And if you look at his college film, he's had games where he looks good, but then he's has games where he looks really bad. Mm-hmm. Like he's games where he just does not. He did not look good. And you can see it, like where his height actually works against him. So we'll see when it comes to him. I'm not saying he's a bust or he's going to be bad or anything like that. And by the way, he can't be considered a bust. He was what round was he? Was Walker fourth round, fourth, fifth, something like that.
Fourth round.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even. Let's be real, guys. If he doesn't work out, who gives a fuck? That's how I see it when it comes to guys that are, after the third round. Like that's how I see it. Now you guys can see it differently, but most of the time those guys aren't. They're journeymen in their NFL career when they're 4, 5, 6. Now you can find some guy. I'm not saying every guy is a journeyman, but I'm just saying the majority guys that go later in rounds are they don't, they're not necessarily the best of the best, right? That's why they're going in those rounds. Now could the Bills work with him and get him to, be a good defensive line? Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. I feel like he's a high ceiling and he is the floor is there too. Like there's no middle ground, I don't think, with him. You know what I mean? Like
I'm actually okay with it though.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I just don't see it as, like I said, it's either going to be high ceiling. We'll find out what happened. I think, and I'll say this about players in general. It's up to them. If they want to put the work in and work hard on their craft, who knows? I don't know this guy's work ethic, and maybe he puts that work and he becomes a really good, defensive tackle, a one tech. We'll find out, but I don't think it's going to be early on. How about that? I don't see it being year one. Could be wrong, but I know he's still dealing with the back thing, or he's coming off the back thing. So
that's the key.
If you look back, at Spencer Brown, I'll give you an example. Spencer Brown. When we had him, he was kind of having a back thing, and he didn't really. It took a couple years for him to get right and get the surgery, and then you saw, oh damn, okay, now the dude's healthy. He got the work to do with the one-on-ones with Cromer. That's when Spencer Brown shined. When he was totally healthy, he got the one-on-ones, and maybe that's what it'll take with Walker. Maybe, we'll see, but I don't know if year one we're going to see it. Is what I'm saying with him. But you're right, Daquan Jones. Like I said. Shell of himself, and I like Sanders. I do. I'm high on him. Everything I've seen on film, I like. The dude is really quick off the line, or quick off the snap. Really good hands. He's electric, but he's not a one tech, and he's gonna and we're not going to use him as a one tech. So What are they going to do? Is he going to be rotational with Ed Oliver? Is he going to, or is there a plan to move on from Ed Oliver? Possible, very possible. Is that Ed Oliver's replacement down the road? You know what I mean? I could see that as a possibility. So we'll see. But I do like him. I do. I think there's a couple guys in this draft that I'm like, okay. I see it, but we'll find out. Anyways, let's go down here.
What do you think about Dwayne Carter, real quick?
What do I think about who? Dwayne Carter?
Yeah,
I liked him last year. Like when we drafted him, a guy that was around college for a little while, a leader. Ready to. They said he was like a pro already. That's just the way he came into the league. Because he was with, I forget what team he played for. He was there a while, and I like him. I like his demeanor. From what I saw last year, he had up and down games. I thought some things I liked, some things I didn't. I think he has potential, but once again, I feel like it's up to the player. put the work in, show your work, show that you deserve to be next to Ed, right, at the One Tech, and you'll get the job. Like that's one thing I will say about McDermott, and I'll credit him for this. He is not afraid to put a different guy in a position over another guy. It doesn't matter about the draft pick or the signing, because he did it with Elam. He did it with when it came. He did it with Benford and Elam. So, and I'll be honest with you, at that time, I was like, "What the fuck is he doing? It's terrible. Why are you doing this? What?" And I think a lot of Bills Mafia, and matter of fact, I think a lot of Bills Mafia, even after year one, going into the year two of Khair, were like, "Give this guy a chance. It's bullshit." Like when we saw him, he played good. Like we were still on that whole, like what we saw this little time he played. He did this. He had interception versus Mahomes. He should be playing. Yep. Like I remember all that, and I was kind of like for it. I'm like, but then I got it. Like we don't. That's the thing too. We don't see what the coaches see in practice, right? We don't know what's going on. Like we only hear what we hear. Like we can only know what the reporters say. Oh, this guy had a, and by the way, a lot of that crap we hear is nonsense. It doesn't even matter. Oh, this guy's toasting this guy. This guy's Josh Allen's favorite receiver. Like the guy don't even make the team. This guy's standing out. He can't be stopped. And then he don't even make the team. Right? Like I remember what was the one receiver, Andy Isabella. Like I heard him in one day. Oh, he's doing this in camp. He's always open.
Didn't even
make team. You know what I mean? Calm down. Like that's why I don't get overhyped when I hear like, and I did it last year. I'm not gonna lie. I did it with who was the guy we had from Pittsburgh? He used to play for Pittsburgh. Oh, Claypool.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, Claypool's making this. Bro, I was like, oh, dude, they said Claypool early on. It's Allen to Claypool, and nobody. And I'm like, dude, that guy's making the team. I'm telling you, he's gonna have a. Nope, he makes damn team. So don't always. I know we are guilty of that. We kind of get a little hyped up what we hear, but there is things like I said, the Khair thing, where we're like, we don't get it. Why? I don't understand. Well, because we don't see that he's holding a shit ton in practice, and they're making him put boxing gloves on because of that. Like, so they're seeing things that we're not. You know what I mean? And I get it, and I respect that, and I have no problem with that, because at the end of the day, he made the right decision, and I would have made the wrong decision. I would have started now, but if I'm a coach, maybe not. Maybe I would have saw what he saw and be like, nah, it ain't happening. So anyways, let's get to the next one. Will the Bills get a full season out of Matt Milano? That's a great question. I'm gonna go no, because it just hasn't happened. I don't know. Has it ever happened? I think we've gotten one or two, right?
We got
Maybe
two. We got two full
so
seasons out of Milano.
I'm gonna go no. So and I don't even know if that's kind of easy. I'm gonna go no. Who will be the CB2? That's a good one. Who will be CB2?
I'm banking on Trey White right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a surprise.
I know a lot of people connected to Maxwell Hairston, and I'm sorry to inform everybody, but it's going to take him some time to get used to reading the NFL game and reacting to the NFL game with the speed that he has. He's going to play much slower than what he can run, and I think we need to hope that he's not in any positions against speedy receivers to have to play man coverage. I'm
gonna tell you right now, man.
Apparently
Princess
she disagrees with me heavily.
She is not hearing all that, pal. She's like,
enough with the Hairston slander, basically.
Talking shit about Max. What the fuck? That's my boy, bro.
But yeah, I mean, I think Trey White is going to win that job. I think Hairston he's going to look impressive in training camp. He's going to, just from the standpoint of his athleticism. But I think once you see him in 11 on 11s, it's going to stick out. Trey White's going to end up being the CB2.
Okay. I mean, you never know. Once again, with Trey, it's about injuries.
Yeah,
that's be real here.
Good point. Yeah.
He's had, when you have, and he had two major injuries. Okay, we know he's not the Trey. Even if he's healthy, he's not the Trey of old. We know this. We can age, it happens to everybody.
Yep.
But if we take out the injuries, I still think he could be a good corner. I still think he could be a CB3. A CB2, man, going into the season with him at CB2, I would be a little nervous with that, but I'll be honest with you. My opinions change a lot when I watch preseason and I watch players move. He's never been the fastest, right? That's never been his thing, right? Trey's never been a sticky defender. He's been a defender where he gets back on the ball, he makes a play on the ball. It's always been his MO, right? Yep. It's never been a high interception guy. That's not what he was about. Yep. He was just a guy that made a play. He always made a play on the ball. That was his style, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he's definitely lost a little bit of a step due to his 2 major injuries. So I got to see what he can do in preseason. I got to see how he's moving against receivers. You get what I'm saying? How is he getting beat bad? Is he getting back on the play, making a play on the ball? Because if not, then we got a situation where it's turning into what we had last year with our CB2, which was what's his name? Russell Douglas, who his first year here, he kind of played like Trey too, where he's not the fastest, but he always will get back on the play, make a play on the. Well, guess what? Last year he lost a step, and he wasn't getting back in time to make a play on the ball, and you saw that, and that's why the Bills didn't resign him. I mean, he's just not. He lost a step, so we'll see when it comes to Trey. So if he's going in a CB2. Either A, he had a really good preseason, or B, Harrison and the other guy that we drafted. Man, I'm having some brain farts tonight. Who's the other guy from Ohio State that we drafted?
Jordan Hancock.
Yeah, didn't have a good camp and didn't have a good preseason, and that would kind of concern me a little bit. So.
So technically it would be Dorian Strong who would be the next outside.
Dorian Strong too. Yes, that's the other guy. So Dorian Strong also has that guy too. Like, and I like the way he's talking about, competing and all that. Like, I love that. I love that with players. Like, he's going to compete for that gig, for that job, right? For that role or whatever. We'll see. Like I said, when preseason's going to tell a lot. It's going to tell a lot. Harrison, I like his speed. But he's undersized. I don't like that. And he, but the speed does help. Like, if he gets burnt, he can get back on a play. I've seen it in college. I saw it on his film. So we'll see. I just feel like he's really undersized. He needs to bulk up a little bit. They say he did, by the way, like gain 5 pounds or something like that. So maybe that'll help, but we'll see. Like, I'm not super high on him, but I think he could also have a decent career in the NFL if he bulks up a little bit and puts the work in. So, we'll find out when it comes to him. Let's see here. What is going on with the safeties? Yeah, that's my biggest concern, by the way.
I think the safeties are part of the reason Rasul Douglas struggled so much last year. The Bills play a lot of cover 3, cover 4, and Tampa 2 concepts. And when you don't have great safety play, your corners have a lot to make up for, in a sense, especially in those coverages, right? Because the ability to cheat on a route, or the ability to get sticky on a route, or kind of play that hybrid zone where it's a match zone where as soon as a guy comes into your zone, you match up with him, you mirror his every move. It's like playing man just in your zone. But anyway, all that really means is, instead of being able to be aggressive and go for the interceptions that he went for the year prior when he got here halfway through the season, he had to focus more on coverage. And that's not really his game. He was a nickel corner most of his career in the NFL. So his what he needed to be able to do was to play aggressive, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't just sit back and make the right play most times, because he never really had to play that way, especially in zone coverages as heavy as the Bills run it. So
Right.
I think the safety position being as weak as it was last year, just in coverage in general, really hurt him a lot. Now, I will say that the statistics on Taylor Rapp got a lot better last year compared to the year prior. But we have to see what we see from Cole Bishop this year, because it sounds like they want him to be the guy that takes over that spot. He was a second-round pick. Sean loves the kid. So if he can come in and be much better in coverage than Jim Monis indicates, because I don't know if you saw that in the interview, but Jim Monis said he's a linebacker.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt a little bit when I heard that, because I'm like,
yeah.
I was really.
I don't see it as that. He'd be a small linebacker. I don't see his frame built.
But you got to think about it like this: Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano were safeties. They got bigger in the league.
They did bulk up. Yeah, I understand that, but I just don't see it. He looks like Coy Wire. Remember Coy Wire? I don't know why. Them two, they remind. Now Coy Wire is a little bit smaller, I believe, a couple inches smaller, but
5'9".
But I don't know, man. When it comes to Bishop, here's the deal, man. Bishop has to stay. The problem with Bishop last year was he got hurt during camp, and he missed all. Camp is so important. Like people don't realize. Like once you start the season, bro, that's a wrap. You don't the one-on-ones with the coaches. That's over with.
Yeah. All
that time, bro. All week once the season starts is practice. You're preparing for your opponent, bro. That all that one-on-ones, that shit is over pretty much. So you missed that time. She's just angry.
You can't talk about her peoples, man. You talk about dude.
All right, get. So, fireworks. That's what it is.
Okay.
She's just very angry. So, go. I'm gonna have to shut this door. Get out of here. Just get out of here. God. Sorry.
Shouting, get off my lawn.
Jeez Louise. But he missed that time, and I feel like as a rookie, especially as a rookie, that's valuable time. It's valuable time that you're missing, right? And he missed it. So this year, if he could stay healthy, and work on his craft, maybe we see a better Cole Bishop, because we saw signs of it last year. I felt like, when he came in one game, he got burnt. What game was that? Where he got burnt right away, touchdown right away. I forget what game that was. Houston, right? But then he came back. He played good, right? Like, okay, he didn't be great, but I felt like he responded well for a rookie. Yeah. Like that's all I want to see. Like if you have a bad play, okay, you know what? Chalk that up and go out there and play, right? Like forget about that and move forward. And I felt like that's what he did last year, and I respect that. I like that.
He even had an interception in the AFC Championship game.
There you go, right? So.
It wasn't called an interception, but we know that it was.
Right. A lot of things weren't called in that AFC Championship game. All right. So just saying. So we'll see when it comes to him. So all right, let's move on, because I know you, man. You've been working today, Aramis. I don't want to keep it too long tonight. So I'll try to go through this kind of quick. This stuff tonight. 5 players with the most to prove in 2025. So. Give me one before I even go down to this list. Like, just throw me one name that may not be here. Just curious. Let's see what you say. And then we'll see if there's a. Yeah. So just name one. Ooh, top of your head.
Player with the most to prove.
Mm-hmm. Hey, my co-host, Mikey. Princess says you better watch what you say about Bishop. I hear you. What's up, Mikey? So just give me one player. Let's see if it's on the list. Just curious.
Man. Okay, Connor McGovern. He's in the last year of his contract. From everything that we've heard or whatever's been reported, the Bills are not having conversations with him about another contract. So I think he's going to have a much better year if he's going to get that consideration for next year.
All right, chat. You can go ahead and put it in the comment section, and then I'm going to start scrolling down to see. By the way, this is Bills Wire. I don't know if you know this, Aramis, but this is my silent co-host. So when I'm alone, I have a silent co-host, Bills Wire. They can't argue with me. I'm gonna hear what they got to say, and then I always win the argument.
Those are the best kinds of conversations.
They're great. It's a great debate, right? But I always come out the winner, right? So So, anyways, Grumpy Owl says Kincaid. So let's see. Let's see if Kincaid's on the list. And by the way, I would agree with that. I think Kincaid is a player that should be on this list as well. All right, let's get to it. Wow, number 5, Matt Milano. You agree with that? Matt Milano, something to prove this year?
I mean, I don't know how much more he needs to prove that he can't play a full season, but okay.
Well, yeah, it's saying, let's rework. It says, veteran Matt Milano has provided the Bills defense with exceptional coverage and tackling ability as a linebacker, at linebacker since he was taken late in the 2017 draft, but that hasn't been the case recently. He has struggled to see the field due to multiple serious injuries, and he's played just 12 total games over the last 12 years after being named a first-team All-Pro in 2022. He did play 3 playoff games last year and started to look like shades of his old self down the stretch. If he could prove that he can maintain that level of play, it would be a big boost to the defense due to his experience and his ability to cover the ground. So that's what they're saying. So basically, really, it's not something to prove. It's more, can he not get injured?
Right. He's gone after this season anyway.
Yeah, so I don't even know if he should be on this list because it's more about, can he stay healthy? That's nothing about being, proving yourself. That's just,
right.
I mean, the dude hit a tackling dummy and wrecked his arm last year. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys.
That doesn't say steroids at all.
Right. Max Harrison, the guy we were just talking about. Ricky says rookie cornerback Maxwell Harrison. Max Harrison makes his list due to his high draft stock, which is fine. I get that. Pick number 30 and the expectation that he'll slide into the starting lineup across from Christian Benford. Veteran Trey White spoke on the pressure that Harrison will feel to perform early in his career. And like White, Harrison will have every opportunity to prove himself after being a first-round pick. While Harrison has all the athletic tools and hip fluidity necessary to excel at the cornerback position, he's still a rookie and will need to do all the things right, all the little things right in order to impress the coaches. Do you agree with that? What they're talking about, Max? It's about being on this list. It's something to prove.
I don't. I mean, to be honest, he was supposed to be a second round pick. He went a little earlier than that. I think he's winning right now. To be perfectly honest, he's got probably the best corner that he could learn under in Tre'Davious White in this defense. So he's in a good spot. I don't think he really has anything to prove. He just needs to come in and be what he is and be what everybody thinks he can be.
Okay. Spin saying Kincaid, Bishop, Coleman, CB2, Palmer. That's his list.
Coleman might have been probably one of the most obvious answers.
Coleman, I would say. Yeah, I would say Bishop. I would say Kincaid. Palmer, no. I listen, Palmer's a vet. He's considered a veteran now. I don't think he has anything to prove. I think he's going to do just fine. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him to prove something. I think he did well with the Chargers. So, and listen, if anyone's thinking he's going to be like this, unbelievable receiver here for us, it's not going to happen because the way the offense is built. And I have a feeling that no one's really going to be like this, 1,500 yard receiver, 1,200 yard. It's just not the way we're building the offense, and it's okay. But we'll see. We'll see what it comes down to these receivers. But that's the way they want. That's the way they want to roll with it. So Cole Bishop, we already talked about. He's on the list. Keon Coleman, he's on the list, which we'll get to in a second, and Kincaid. So the last three people were right on. Mm-hmm. What do you feel about Coleman? And then we'll get to Kincaid.
So I had an opportunity to meet Keon, and I have a much better appreciation for, some of the things that went on last season. Right. And I can say this. I think he just needs to be put in the right positions, to be perfectly honest. I think he needs to be given the right opportunities and be put in the right positions to have the kind of impact that we want to see out of him. We have to keep in mind the knock on him coming out of the draft was that he was not a separator. That's not his game to begin with. He's a rat guy. And I don't know how people miss that in college, but he's a run after catch guy. So you have to get him on routes that allow him to catch and run, or to catch and beat the one guy that's covering him and get an extra 10 yards or whatever. He's big enough, he's strong enough to do it against most corners in the NFL. It's just a question of, are the Bills going to call the routes for him that he needs to be able to show that?
Yeah. I listen, here's the deal when it comes to like players like that. Players in general on our team, on this receiving team. I feel like this unit has, like, these players have all specialty. Like, they all can do something unique and different. Speed-wise, one has height, one could, you know what I mean? One plays physical. Like, we have a lot of weapons on this receiving room. I really believe that. It's up to Brady to understand his players' strengths and weaknesses and where to put them on the field and what plays you're going to design for them. Like, I feel like Kincaid still is yet like to be used the right way. Like, I feel like Kincaid could still be a better than what we've seen. I just feel like they cut his route tree off, right? They make his play so like almost generic, like just generic. And it's just like, dude, this guy. Like, come on, you guys see what he can do. You know what he's capable to do. You know, you've seen his college film. Clearly, you traded up to get him. You know what he's capable of doing. Why are you handcuffing him? I feel like that's what they're doing with Kincaid a little bit. They're handcuffing him a little bit, and I don't get. And I hope that Brady realizes that and starts to like trust in his players, start to understand what they could do good and what they can't do well, and utilize it. That's all you got to do. If you got a burner, utilize his speed, right? And I felt like that's what Dable did so well. And I wasn't even a Dable fan. Like, I really didn't even like Dable, but I gave Dable credit towards the end because I felt like Dable was like understanding, okay, I got Isaiah McKenzie. Not the greatest, but man, he's fucking fast. All right, let's do this. Let's do some pop passes. Let's get him in motions. Let's get some jet sweeps going. Let's do that. Like, let's get him in the slot. Let's get him on the outside. Like, let's use his speed to our advantage. And I feel like Brady hasn't gotten there yet. And that's why I'm not like super high on Brady yet. And I'm not saying he's not a bad OC. I think Brady's a good OC. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like he could be better. And I feel like last year there was times where he got, his offense was very stale, very like at the defense
of the season, you mean?
Yeah, like, well, no, just in general. Like, he went in like times where it was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, where you repetitive, like you like okay, he keeps doing the same play over and over. It's like, they know it's coming. Here it comes. The Josh Allen sneak to the left. So I forget the word I'm trying to come up with, but he just got to that point where like he wasn't getting creative enough with the offense, I felt like at times, right? He needs to open it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe his first year, he didn't want to totally open up like the way he maybe wants to, because first year OC didn't want to piss off Sean McDermott. You saw he tried to do one trick play. It backfired. By the way, terrible, right? It was an awful trick play. And he never fucking did that shit ever again. Mm-hmm. I don't think we ever ran another trick play that he called. But now we did one that he didn't call with Josh Allen and what's his name when he pitched the ball. But Cooper. But that wasn't his call. That was just backyard football.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Predictable. Thank you. I could not think of the word. Thank you so much, Ben. Predictable. So yes. So that's what I was trying to get to. Well, he got very predictable at times. So you get what I'm saying with that? Like, I like him, but I feel like what he did in college at LSU, mm-hmm. he's not really doing here yet with his team. And he can. But what's holding him back? Yeah, he can. Absolutely, he can. Now, listen, I get it. You got Jamar Chase.
Right now, he's not allowed to.
Now, that's my point. It's not really that's where I'm going. Okay. It's Sean like that's my point.
Yeah.
So I felt like last year when he tried to, I think like he was himself as an OC was handcuffed. I feel like.
Yep.
Now he's in year 2. Will those handcuffs come off. They could, because Sean McDermott, I'll say this about him too. He handcuffed Josh Allen for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And he also eventually realize I'm fucking up here. And I remember, I forget what season it was. I think it was with Dorsey. And they were trying to Josh, we're going to pocket. He's not going to run. Yeah, we're going to remember that.
And have him under
yeah. And that's when they fired Dorsey that year. And I remember McDermott had a press conference and he was like, he said something like, I'm just going to have to let Josh kind of just, start doing his thing. Duh. You can't handcuff certain guy. You can't. You got to trust in your players. You got to trust in your coaching staff. You hired him. You made him in charge. You got to give him that freedom.
Yep.
And I felt like last year, Joe Brady was handcuffed. And I felt like when he tried to do something different, it backfired. And McDermott, something backfires and it's not it. Oh, you're going to know about it.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to quickly know about it. Yeah. So listen, it's year 2. Let's see if that changes. It could. It very well could. And if it does, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see a better offense. And by the way, our offense last year was not bad. I mean, we were second in scoring. It wasn't like shit, but it could have been better. Of course. Right? Everything could be better. Everything. So, but go ahead. I know you wanted to speak on that.
No, I would say don't be surprised if we see something similar to what happened last year, which is the Bills and namely Sean McDermott trying to find a way to make the offense more safe as G pick. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, safe offense.
Yeah, I mean that's so. If you look at the stats, the Bills last year started the season 52% run, 48% pass. Mm-hmm. By week 4 or week 5, by week 5 after the loss to Houston, it was 52% pass, 48% run. They instantly tweaked that thing after 2 rough games and two losses. So I think. Sean has always tried to get the offense closer to being a safer, turn the ball over less, ball control. I mean, that's
balanced.
That's
balanced.
the defensive-minded head coaches,
right.
handbook, so to speak. You need all these things in order to be a defensive head coach. But I think the bottom line of it is for Dalton Kincaid in particular. And I think I forgot who said this earlier. It might have been I forgot who it is, but somebody said square peg, round hole, square peg, right? And I think that's what Kincaid is. If you look at a guy like Michael Mayer was the type of tight end that could have come in and did exactly what Dawson Knox did, and now you have 2 Dawson Knoxes. That to me would have made the 12 run a lot better. You were depending on a pass catching tight end to come in and develop into a blocker well enough to make a first year offense operate the way that it was supposed to. And it just didn't. And that's ultimately, in my opinion anyway, what got the offensive coordinator fired, is that the offense wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. You had a quarterback that hates playing under center. You got a tight end that can't block. Your other tight end is the best blocking tight end you have. But you need one of your tight ends to run out and catch passes, and the one that's best at it can't block. You know what I mean? It was all these contradictions within the offense. So, ultimately, what's the point of what I'm saying? I guess we just need to be prepared for the safe stuff early in the season. Yep. And the second it doesn't work, then we'll see Sean change his mind. All right, go ahead and toss that thing all over the yard, and we'll put some points up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with that too. I think McDermott, that's been his MO. I mean, really. And that's why I think him and Dable clashed, because Dable wasn't going to back down. It was his offense. Get the fuck out the room. I'm going to do things the way I want to do things. And he couldn't really fire Dable because it was working. Right? I mean, it would be a bad look. You know what I mean? So McDermott knew that. So really, at the end of the day, Dable got hired to be head coach. So you're right. And McDermott didn't fight but he, trust me when I tell you, like Dable wanted the hell out of here, right?
Oh.
But he wanted a head coaching job. You know what I mean? And he wasn't going to just go to be a coordinator somewhere. Like that's when he was working with the best quarterback. You know what I mean? So, but they had friction. Absolutely, they did. They still do. They don't like each other. Because I feel like Dable, like I said, once again, he wasn't going to bow to McDermott, and you didn't. And his, I feel like Dable was like, "Yo, you brung me here to do a job, and now you want me to do it how you want to run it, and I want to do it the way I feel like this offense should be ran because I've been doing an offensive coordinator in the NFL for a long time, and let me do my job." So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see when it comes to Brady. Like I said, he's young. He's still learning. He did do some things last year I didn't like, but he did a lot of great things too. So, I am excited to see what he does year 2 for sure. Babbage, I'm on the fence with Babbage. I got to be real with you because I don't even know if this is really him. Like his play call. You know what I mean? It's not his right. It's not his defense. He's handed over McDermott, right? It's McDermott's defense and it's just him calling the play. And by the way, how much is he calling? We don't know. And what I could tell you is McDermott took over Frazier a few times, and Frazier was a veteran coach, and he took over play calling for a veteran coach in games. He literally took over, said, "I'm going to call the defensive play call for the rest of the game." That is a slap in the face. And the only reason Frazier took it like so well is because Frazier's not Dable. He is a very cool, calm. All right, go ahead, McDermott. Like he wasn't going to let it affect him that way. And neither is Babbage, because Babbage is a young guy. He's not going to speak out and be like, "No, bro, come on, you handed me the keys. Let me do my thing. Let me tweak up the defense. Let me throw this wrinkle in the defense." No fucking way. You think if Babbage went to McDermott and be like, "Hey, I want to do this now. I want to like mix it up." You know what McDermott's gonna be like, "Bro, get your ass back.
Wait your turn." Yep.
Yeah. Go back up to the box. Just calm your ass down.
Yep. Just tell me what play we're running on 2nd and 10. That's it.
Right. So just relax. Oh man, let's get to some of these. So you're saying we should be prepared for 3 and outs.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Dable was like, "I have Josh Allen. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm doing it my way." Absolutely. Yeah. Great comments, man. See that? I'm invincible. Fans.
You're so good at this, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. So let's get to this because we are an hour and a half. I want to get through the rest. Okay. So SI did a Bills all-time wide receiver list, top 10. Okay. Pretty cool. So, and the reason I bring this up, this Truck Reviewer last week did not have Eric Moulds as his top 5. He had him barely in the top 10. He had guys I didn't even hear about over Eric Moulds, shockingly. I was like,
by the way, he's on drugs.
He had Steve Tasker better than Eric Moulds. And listen, no offense to Steve Tasker, like Steve, but you're crazy. Anyway, so this is SI's all-time top 10, and I'm not gonna read everything. I'm just gonna read the name. So if there's something you don't like, chat. Something you don't like, Aramis, tell me. All right, here we go. Number 10, Bob Chandler. Number 9, Cole Beasley. Number 8, Frank Lewis. Number 7, James Lofton. Number 6, Lee Evans. Number 5, Stevie Johnson. Number 4, Stephon Diggs. Number 3, Albert Dominion. I don't even know who that guy is. Number 2, Andre Reed. And number 1, Eric Moulds. So, what do you think? I'll go through you in the chat. You can start putting it because I know you're on delay.
I would have liked to have seen Peerless Price on there somewhere on that list.
Peerless was here a short time, though. That's the only reason. And I feel like if he stuck around, he would have been on this list. When he left for that contract, kind of messed them up. He came back. Remember, he came back. He had a decent year, but if he would have stuck, I think him and Eric would have been great. Imagine we had Leah after that too. But that's the only reason I would not have him on the list. He just wasn't around long enough.
I mean, I don't know. Hold on. Is Tasker on this list?
Tasker is not on this list. It's so we'll go through it real quick again. 10 is Chandler. They got Cole Beasley on here, which I like. I mean,
Cole Beasley was here for 3 seasons.
Cole Beasley was nice though, man.
I'm not saying
some good yards. Yeah,
I'm not saying he wasn't, but I mean, like even a guy like James Lofton. James Lofton was here for what, 3 seasons? Not even 3 seasons.
No, not even. Yeah, but yeah, Frank Lewis. I don't know that guy. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna comment on guys I don't know. James Lofton, but see, James Lofton, we got him at the tail end of his career. Mm-hmm. He had one good, really like pretty good year with us. After that, he was just, he was old.
I'm simply saying Peerless Price was here for about as long as James Lofton was, and then went off to be a number 1 on somebody else's team and didn't do so well. But when he was here, he was a 1,000-yard receiver, man. That's the first time we ever had a number 1 and a number 2 receiver have 1,000 yards in the same season.
What about here? Stevie, Stefan, and I don't know this guy, Albert. No, forgive me, but I don't know Albert Dominion. I'm sure he's good. I just don't know him.
So statistically, Steph should be 2. Steven, in my opinion, Stevie should be 3.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Who's 2? Andre Reed?
2 is Andre Reed, which is, yes, you have to. Andre Reed was he's a Hall of Famer. You have to.
I mean, I get that, but he played in an era where, not a lot of teams were throwing the ball like that. So,
but I mean, he racked up, it says Reed 15 seasons with the Bills. That alone, I think he deserves. You know what I mean? Like, that's very tough in today's NFL to play to play for one team for 15
Not in that
years,
era.
right?
Well, nowadays, nobody does.
Well, I'm just saying
everybody did it.
Well, that's what I mean. But now, I'm talking about now. Like, just if you think about it, like now, like in today's era, like
I can't give him credit for that now.
Okay, but I mean,
back in the 90s,
7-time Pro Bowl.
Okay,
voted second team All Pro twice. He's a Hall of Fame. He got to Super Bowls with us, 13,000 yards. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he was that, and I agree with Eric Moulds being better. And if you want to read why Eric Moulds better, is exactly what they say, because I read this, is why I think he's our best ever. Okay. Moulds isn't, and likely will never be voted into the NFL Hall of Fame, which is, I'll be honest with you, if he was somewhere else, he would be a Hall of Famer. But that doesn't mean he isn't Hall of Fame material. Exactly. In his 10 seasons with the Bills, he totaled more than 10,000 yards, 675 receptions, and 48 touchdowns. He ranks number 2 in Bills history in just about every receiving category, and did it with 6 different starting quarterbacks. He earned 3 Pro Bowls and 2 second-team All-Pros. And that's the reason why I think he's our best ever, because of that right here. 6 starting quarterbacks. Not to mention, and they didn't even put this here, I think it was 3 head coaches as well. So you got 3 head coaches, which means different offensive coordinators as well, which means different schemes. You got 6 different quarterbacks, which they all throw different. They all have their guys that they tend to like more. Like, that's just the way it works. And for a guy to be consistent, to put up those numbers, 10 years, bro, I mean, take Eric Moulds and put him with Jim Kelly and swap Andre and put him with 6 different starting quarterbacks.
They might win one of those Super Bowls then.
You know what I mean? Like,
they might.
Like, I don't think people realize, and I tell people, like, guys, like, you have to go. And I know the videos are grainy or whatever on YouTube, but go and watch Eric Moulds like games. I've never seen anybody get so much separation, like, and power, great hands, speed. Like, the dude he had everything.
Yep.
He had everything. Like the guy could play football, and he was that good. He was making one-hand catches when it wasn't even a thing.
Yep.
Like unbelievable. And shitty quarterbacks. Let's be real. He had Drew Bledsoe's 1 year was his best quarterback he had. Outside of that, yep. Doug Flutie. Okay. Flutie. I like him, but come on, guys. The fucking Flutie.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think he was with Jim Kelly his final year. Come on, Jim Kelly was done, right? He was toast by then. Who else? Garbage. I mean, and then a bunch of nobodies. I couldn't even tell you their names because they were garbage. And he put consistent numbers up. So that's why I agree with this. Now, once again, it's opinion based. I totally understand if Andre Reed's the best, right? I get that. Like, if you guys want to, I'm not going to fight that. Stevie Johnson was unbelievable, right? And that's another player where I felt like, I think he was a 6th-round draft pick. I could be wrong, but he was a late round seventh, right? Okay, so 7th-round draft pick. What did he do? He went out there, he fucking busted his ass, he worked on his craft, and he got his opportunity, and he didn't look back, right? And bro, I remember when we drafted him, I was rooting for him. He had short hair at the time. Like, he didn't have his dreads that he has now. Like, and he just worked hard, man. He worked hard, and he was different too. Like, the way he ran his routes, so, like, he was a different kind of receiver. Matter of fact, I think somebody talked about him the other day and was like, man, like, the way he like ran his routes was like, I never seen anybody move the way he moved. I forget what. Ocho Cinco. Said it, and I'm like, damn, that's high praise. So, and Stephon Diggs, once again, we talked about this at the start of the podcast. We talked about Brandon Beane. Somebody brought it up. They haven't done. Look, he's on this list, right? Number 4. We're already seeing a guy. It's one of the best Bills receivers ever, and Brandon Beane did that for Josh Allen. So we can't necessarily say that Brandon Beane hasn't tried, or hasn't done anything for Josh Allen. He brung in arguably a top 5 ever, when it's all said and done, Bills wide receiver. And he was only here, 4 seasons, right? Was it 4? Mm-hmm. So, so that's the list. If you guys agree, disagree, put it in the chat. Let's see here. Put Eric Moulds on the current Bills team. Dude, can you imagine? Dude, I mean, that'd be unbelievable. And by the way, too, Eric Moulds, that 2002 year, I said it, I know a million times. You guys are like, oh, I already heard it. That's the last time we had 2 receivers hit 1,000 yards. That's crazy. We almost had it with Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs. Beasley was short 50 yards, I believe, because he got hurt. He would have had it, but didn't. It doesn't matter.
It was Josh's best statistical season.
Yeah. It says, if you think Moulds ain't molding these young wide receivers, you're wrong. Andre Reed is enjoying his Hall of Fame life. Listen, yeah, but that doesn't mean he also played with a Hall of Fame quarterback and a Hall of Fame head coach and a Hall of Fame running back. Like, Andre Reed was surrounded with talent.
Yeah.
So it helped his, and I'm not dogging the guy. Like, Andre Reed was a really good player. I'm like once again, this isn't about dogging a certain player. But when you're on a team with surrounded with that talent, you're going to shine.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say really quick. I think the other thing, too, with Andre Reed, and one of the reasons why I think he's valued a little too high, is he was a slot receiver. And the slot position in general usually gets more average yards of separation than outside receivers do. That's just the nature of the position, right? He's playing against linebackers, safeties, and maybe a nickel corner back then. He was probably playing against linebackers and safeties a little bit more than anything else. So when you look at who his competition was across from him, he's beating up on a bunch of guys that just can't cover receivers, period. You know what I mean? The defenses were much slower back then. There weren't a lot of teams running nickel defense. So he had much more opportunity. I usually like to take a lot more context than just the basic information that's given to make my assessment. And I think when you look at not just the fact that he was a slot receiver, but as you said, he's got all this talent around him to create that space for him. It's a perfect storm of success. Now,
exactly.
That doesn't mean that he's not a good player, but to have him in such high regard, Hall of Fame, like as if he's like wide receiver Jesus, like I can't get there with him. You know what I mean?
So the next question is this, and the Buffalo Bills, I love them. They've done some things that have pissed me off, right? And Eric Moulds not being on the Wall of Fame is one of them.
Yep. Don't
understand it. And now, obviously, they're not going to do it because the building's getting teared down. or they're going into a new building, whatever. Like, are they going to put him in the damn new building? Whatever. I would hope so, right? Like, what is going on there? Like, how is he not deserving of being on that Wall of Fame? I don't get it. Like, what would the reason be? Like, why would he not be there? He did his time. And I said time because, by the way, And I say that like it's prison because it was.
Yeah.
It was a terrible teams.
Yep.
And bro, that guy stayed around for 10 years when he could have left. And he said, yeah, I'll stick with, I'm going to stick here. I'm going to make it work. And he gave you 10 years of good, no, not good, great football. And you shit on him. You don't even give him a fucking name on a wall. But yet, you don't mind him running out with the fucking team during a game. You know, like, I don't get that. Like his time is up. It's been up. So we'll see when the new stadium opens, but he deserves it, man. Like enough is enough.
He was never one of those guys that like to play the politics that kind of get you into that level. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
more respect to him for that. Be yourself no matter what. But that's usually what happens with the Buffalo Bills. If you're not willing to play the political game in a sense, you usually find yourself on the outside of the circle.
Very curious what they do when the new stadium. Like, very curious how they do it with the new stadium because I don't think they'll do it like the old where they have like, you know, maybe they'll do something digital. Like I'm just trying to think new age. They might do something more creative.
Some kind of Bills Hall of Fame in the building or something like that.
Yeah. Cool. Right. But he has to like I said, the time is now. You know what I mean? Like we're not talking about Lee Evans here. No offense to Lee. If you're watching this, I love you. Great, but you're not Eric Moulds. Okay, so
not even.
But you're hell. But you were good. But you're not. You're not really like we're. A little bit of far away from there, but you were a good player. By the way, I did like Lee Evans. So I did like Lee Evans and JP Lossman. That connection was really good. But outside of that, like Lee Evans he wasn't around long. Yeah. Once again, like he wasn't consistent enough for me. When he left, he still was in his prime and he didn't do anything. I think he went to Baltimore. He had a bad like drop in a playoff game. I think it was, so yeah, like. But no knock on like Lee Evans was good. I like him, but he wasn't Wall of Fame good. Anyways, I'm gonna skip a couple because I don't want to keep on too long. So we're gonna get to the last thing. We'll skip. I'll tell you what, chat. We're gonna get to the top 100 next week. I'll do that with Mikey. So CBS, by the way, Aramis put out their top 100 players. Oh. I'm gonna do that next week because we're getting late, and I know you know. You're getting tired. I appreciate you, bro, coming on with me tonight. And also next week, guys, we're going to do CBS did their 2025 top tier quarterbacks by tiers. So NFL quarterbacks by tier. So that'll be interesting to see where they, have each quarterback on their tier list. We'll do this one now. The good, bad, and ugly from the 2025 NFL offseason. And this is everything in general. Aramis. So this isn't just Buffalo Bills. I don't even know if we made this list. So good, bad, and ugly. So let's see what's on here and if you agree with any of this stuff. Okay. All right. Good, bad, and ugly. All right. Here we go. Good. Did I skip anything? No, I didn't. Okay. Good. Aaron Rodgers finally making a decision. What do you think? Is that good? I mean, is that a good thing? I could give it shit.
It would have been better if Pickens was still in Pittsburgh, but not after that. No, he's going to have the same season he had last year.
Yeah, I could care less about Aaron Rodgers and his fucking retreats that he does, whatever the hell he's doing. That's not good. By the way, I cannot believe Pittsburgh. I just think it's such a terrible decision.
Oh yeah,
with this guy, I just don't. It's not going to do anything for you. You're going to be an 8-9 win team, which means you're not going to even get a top 10 pick. Like, I don't get it. Like, what are you doing here? Anyway, so let's move on. Bad. The Ravens losing Ardarius Washington for the year.
Not so much anymore because now they have Jair Alexander. So it's really,
that's right. They did sign him. Yes.
And Kyle Hamilton played big nickel last year too, so it's not a big deal.
Ugly. We got ugly. Whatever is happening with the Browns, Colts, and Saints under center. So in Cleveland there were two rookies, right? Shador and Dillon. The two, Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. The Colts, they got Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. The Saints got Tyler Shaw competing with Jake Henner and Spencer Rattler. Yeah, that's a mess. That is ugly. Like, what are these? I don't know. Like, what do you like? Honestly, if I'm Cleveland, I think could figure it out, but I still don't know what the hell Cleveland's doing. They're all Cleveland. I just don't. I will never understand Cleveland. The Colts, though, if I'm the Colts and the Saints too, I think Anthony Richardson, I think, is not the guy. Right? I just don't see it in him. And Daniel Jones, you know what you're going to get, right? Mm-hmm. Listen, he's been in the league long enough. This isn't a Baker Mayfield thing, right? Where he's like, you know what I mean? Bad team with Cleveland, like going to no. Like Daniel Jones had opportunity after opportunity with an offensive coordinator who, you know, worked with Josh Allen. Like, come on, man, and you still don't get it right. You're not going to get it right. Right, with the Colts. The Colts aren't going to make Daniel Jones any better. If I'm the Colts, bro, honestly, who gives a fuck? Start whoever, have a losing season, and try to get yourself a top 5 pick and get a quarterback. Yeah. And keep trying. By the way, these teams, if I'm an NFL team, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying every year. If you don't get it right, try again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I am going through the draft almost every year if I feel like I don't have my guy. Like, Arizona did it. You know what I mean? Like, just do it. Doesn't matter, right? And I feel like some teams, like the Dolphins, like, oh, let's just go on and get this guy. Like, get this aging 45-year-old quarterback. What are you doing? And the Saints, same thing, bro. Come on, man. None of these guys. I mean, I don't know about Shao, but I honestly don't know much about him, but I know what Rattler is, and it ain't good.
No. Hainer too. Not good.
Yeah. So for me, throw anybody out there. Honestly, I know it sucks if you're a Saints fan, but you have to go through this. This is what teams with no quarterbacks, you got to have a losing season, and you got to have a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
You have to. It starts with the quarterback. It really does. You have to have that guy under center, or it's going to be a disaster. So, yeah, that I agree with the ugly there, and good. Whoa, we made. I didn't even read this. Just a heads up, we made the list. Made the list. The Bills extending most of their young talent. So I agree. So it says this offseason, General Manager Brandon Beane extended a slew of younger homegrown players, including Benford, Shakir, Bernard, and Rousseau. There's not a single Pro Bowl or All-Pro nod between them, but each is a rising star at his position, and Bean got all of them on good deals. So I'm agreeing. Now here's the James Cook. Now here's where Aramis is going to get upset. The only remaining question is running back James Cook, who has a year left on his rookie deal. Cook led the league with 16 rushing touchdowns in 2024, but is still slated for free agency. If Cook resigns at some point, that's another home run for Bean and the Bills. So what do you think there? I think Cook's gone. I think he's going to play out his year. I think he's betting on himself, which is fine. And he better be, because if he doesn't at least come close to what he did last year, as far as touchdowns go and yards, he's not going to get where he thinks he's going to get out and about, But I also want to say this too, and I got to thinking, Aramis, on this. I don't even know if I talked to you about this, but there was somebody that posted something about Josh Allen's contract, and the amount of money that is taken out for taxes and other state things. He's only making like 25 a year. Like, it's crazy amount of money. So maybe, I'm just throwing this out there too, players like James Cook and other players that want contracts in Buffalo are maybe pricing a little high too, knowing that they're going to get hit with some heavy taxes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe they're going, hey, if I go to Miami and take 12, it equals out. Right. You know what I'm saying, guys? I'm just using Miami as a, I'm not saying Miami, you go to Miami, but you get what I'm saying. A state that doesn't have, state tax, and like New York does. So that could also be a reason why he's maybe pricing it a little bit higher, knowing he's going to get that hit, take those big hits. I'm just throwing that out there. That's one. And two, maybe he just doesn't want to be here. I mean, and that's okay. I don't hate a person if they don't want to be here. Maybe he feels like he can get more opportunity to shine and a different offense that fits him, that gives him more opportunities with the ball, gives him a higher snap count. You know what I mean? Where he can maybe even earn a bigger contract on a second time around. You know, I'm just throwing that out there too. Like, there's reasons why players maybe want to leave. You know what I mean? But grass ain't always greener. I will say that too. You never know what you're going to, you know, players have left here and been like, damn, you know, I regret it, right? Like Jordan Phillips, right? Like, he left and it was like, yeah, shit, not for me. I want to come back home, right? Some players have left here and be like, that was the best decision I've made. So I get that. You know what I mean? So we'll see with the Cook, but I have a feeling, guys, he's going to play out his year. I don't think he's going to hold out or anything. I think he's going to bet on himself, and he's going to hit the free agency market. And I think Bean's going to let him. I think Bean's not going to counter, and he's going to do the Tremaine Edmonds thing. I think he's just going to let him get paid somewhere else. He's not going to be here.
I'm gonna break some news here on your show.
I like news. Wait. You got breaking news. I got to hit that thing. Let me see if I can find. Oh, I got it. All right, go.
No. So I actually was able to confirm this. The Bills are right at $12 to $13 million for James Cook right now, and that's much higher than the 9 that we heard, you know, before earlier in the offseason.
Okay,
so they have moved closer to James Cook's number. Really just comes down to, you know, James Cook being willing to come off of 15. So from what I've heard, they've been in talks and you know, things have been progressing, but that's where the Bills are right now. We still don't yet know where exactly James Cook stands. So hopefully that's something they're able to get done. I have no idea where this 12 to 13 million is going to come from, but Cook is under contract.
There's a way.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there's always a way.
To be honest, the extension wouldn't go into effect until next year anyway, when they had money to pay that, because he's still going to get to 5 this year. Right. So, but at least he would be under contract for, you know, the next 3-4 years, maybe, you know? Yeah.
That tells me, look, and I said this before, I think to you as well, that, you know, I feel like Brandon Beane, the fact that he even initially was talking with him about the contract says a lot. Like, it does. Like, that tells me that he does want him back. Like, maybe they were far apart at one point, but, you know, I do think this, and with Brandon Beane too, I do think he has done his draftees right. And listen, if they're taking hometown discounts or not, I don't give a shit about that. That's up to the player.
Right.
To be back or not. That has nothing to do with Brandon Beane being cheapo or, hey, I can only afford this. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of the room. Like, I don't think that's happening. Right. I think the players are just happy. They're satisfied. They like the amount. And by the way, it's a lot of money. Right. So that's, you know, and maybe, and to me, like I said, you know, a few minutes ago, I think players look at it like that too. Okay, I could go here, be a free agent and sign with the Jaguars, and fuck is, you know, New, I got to relocate, new teammates. Maybe new scheme. Maybe I don't like this coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're basically picking up and leaving your whole world behind that. You've been here 4 years and now you're like, see ya, you know, like, and you don't know you have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get along with your coach. It could be a total disaster.
Yep.
You're really, you know, so I think a lot of the time when they say hometown discounts, I just think it's more about sometimes the players just like, man, I like it here. Like, you know what I mean? I don't mind taking a couple mil or less just to be at home, not have to, you know, my kids don't have to move. You know what I mean? Like, I like Josh. I like being next to, you know, my best friends here, whatever the case may be. So we'll see when it's James Cook. I don't know if James Cook has that same feeling. You know what I mean? But we'll find out. We'll find out if my point is, we'll find out if a couple million is worth it for him to say, fuck it, I still want to move out of here. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like if that's important to him, you know what I mean? Because a couple million, I mean, for us, it's like holy shit, but for them, they're you know, 12 to 15. Exactly. So we'll see what it comes to that. But I think, that's a fair offer for me. And I've always been around, and I told you I would be cool with that 12 max, 10 to 12 around there with some incentive base where, you know, maybe get up to 15 or 14 and a half, whatever. I'd be fine with that. I want to be over here, be like, oh, terrible decision, because he's still young. So there's some benefits here. And once again, I don't like paying running backs, but I'm also real. There is some benefits when it comes to Cook. One, he doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires from college. He don't even have a lot of tread on his tires in the NFL because we don't really use them a lot, right? We know this. So you have to take that into consideration. He's been healthy. You have to take that into consideration. Right? And he's had some good seasons here. And he's getting better as he gets older, as the seasons go on. So yeah, there's positives here. So we'll see what happens. But I also don't want to overpay either. I do feel like you can get running backs in the draft. I do believe I do believe Ray Davis is a good running back that could fill in nicely if Cook were to leave. I do think the Bills would draft a running back and have him sit behind Ray Davis in the next season, and it would kind of be that whole shuffling thing again, where Ray Davis would be the guy for a couple of years, and here comes this RB2's RB1, kind of like we've been doing since Singletary, right? But really, that's what we've been doing. I mean, we've been 2 year, 3 year. Cook now's the guy. 3 years now. Ray Davis the guy. I don't want.
Do you know what the market value is going to be for running backs next year?
Well, listen. I think market value in general is going to go higher for running backs because I think they're getting valued more now. I think the running backs are. I think teams are going more balanced now than it was before. It's not such a pass-heavy league, so that's going to make running backs more valuable. But that doesn't mean that more running backs come out of the draft or better. A group of draft class running backs come out more than most positions. I feel like you can get I feel like there's more running backs that you can get in 2, 3 and get more lucky than a receiver, let's say.
That can come in and score 16 touchdowns?
Yeah, but that's only so here's my deal with James Cook. He's only done it once. If this was consistently, I get what you're saying, but we can also go back to the Lions, Jamal Williams, who also had 17 touchdowns 1 year with the Lions. Just throwing this out there. He did it 1 year, got paid somewhere else, and never did that again. And I'm not saying that's going to be James Cook. And they're way different running backs. James Cook is a way better running back than, I believe his name is Jamal Williams. Uh-huh. However, with that being said, James Cook, the prior season, was nowhere near what he had last year. So if James Cook, and that's why I said, if this year he's betting on himself, if James Cook can come even close to repeating the numbers, right? So he had 16 last year rushing, and I think he had like another 4 or whatever it was on 2 receiving. If let's say he even gets 13 rushing touchdowns or 12, and he gets another 2 receiving, that's close enough for me to go, that's consistent. He's now 2 years in a row, double digits in touchdowns, right? And yards. Let's say he gets another 1,000 or 1,100. I would say, you know what? Yeah, that's a consistent running back. He did it 2 years in a row. There's nothing else for me to see or get proven that he can do that again.
I got to bang the gong.
So listen, but wait. And the reason why I say this is there's been quarterbacks that's had great seasons. That's thrown for crazy amount of touchdowns or 4,500 yards. I'm just throwing this out there. Every player in the NFL could have a potential breakout season, and then the next season they don't match that. I'm not saying that he can't, but the fact that you're saying for sure he's going to match it is there's no proof in that yet. I have to see it. It's only been done 1 year for James Cook. So where's the proof that he's going to match that?
It's been done by multiple players in multiple different positions, including his own. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I'll give you a prime example of So on my show about an hour ago, I gave the example of Stephon Diggs. When Stephon Diggs got here, they gave him a big contract. 3 years later, they gave him an extension. The year he got his extension, he only had 1,200 yards, which was 204 yards less than the yardage he had the year before. The year after he got his deal, he went for 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns. Right? He went for more yardage than he went the year before when he got his extension. So the year after his extension, his production improved. I'll give you another example. If you look at Derrick Henry, what was everybody saying about Derrick Henry when the Titans released him? Everybody was saying what? Oh, I'm not paying that much money for an old runner. He's 20, 29, 30 years old. I'm not paying that for him. I mean, yeah, I get not you, but I'm saying the large consensus the large consensus around him was he's washed, he's old, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. He goes to Baltimore and puts up better statistics there than a lot of his seasons in Tennessee. So there are plenty of examples of a guy getting the bag and being productive afterwards.
However, Stephon Diggs was already known to be a good receiver out of Minnesota, right? Consistent. His numbers were consistent here before he got his extension.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
he
was.
He wasn't a name in the league like he was.
Okay, yeah, but he didn't get his extension until 2 years after being here. And he was consistent. The first 2 years,
he got paid as soon as he got here.
Yeah, but his extension when he got paid again.
That was 3
Okay, so they would not, but they would have never gave that if he wasn't consistent. Okay, and then you mentioned
it wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No.
Yards were consistent. Absolutely.
His first season was 1,100 yards. His next season was 1,400. The season after that was like 225 or something like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying
he was 200. He had 204 yards less than the season before.
But that's still, but for me, that's close. And I just said if James Cook
is over 1,000 yards 2 seasons in a row, and that's not consistent.
Yardage, yes, we're talking. But you said touchdowns. You never, when we started the conversation, you said you didn't say James Cook 1,000 yard, but you said James Cook touchdown 16. Like you're excited more because let's take the touchdowns out.
I'm saying that's part of what makes him elite. But
exactly. But let's take that out of the equation.
Okay.
2,000 yard back to back is for a running back, a RB1 isn't that. By the way, barely cracking 1,000 isn't wowing me. I'm just throwing that out there. What wowed you?
How many running backs were part of a 3-headed monster that got 1,000 yards?
I'm with that, but I'm with that. However, but the reality is this: James Cook's season last year. Mm-hmm. The reason why we as fans or people talk about it more is not the 1,000 yards; it's the touchdowns. Let's be real. Like yes, the 1,000 yards comes into play. But that's not what Bills fans are, or even NFL or whatever, goes, man, Cook had 18 total touchdowns. That's a lot. They're not saying Cook had 1,000 yards back-to-backs. Like, that's not the reason why Cook's season was so special. The reason why it was so special is because he went from, I think, 6 touchdowns the year before, or 8 maybe.
Well, 6 total.
6 total, right? 4 on the ground and 2 or whatever it was. To 18 or whatever it was. That's a huge jump. So my point is this.
Why,
because I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly why. Because Joe Brady implemented him more into the offense. Into the red zone more often than he and that's credit. But I will say this too. I credit James Cook because you still got to do your job to get to the end zone. He's a home run threat, right? A lot of those runs were long touchdown runs. You got to give him credit for that. I show the love where the love is due.
About a quarter of his touchdowns were long.
Yeah. I give that to him, but I'm just saying, if he can even remotely come close to that, let's say he gets 12 rushing, and then I'll say I consider that consistent, even though it's not 18. Okay, he got 14. I'm not going to be like, oh, James Cook, what a fall off from 18 to 14. And neither would you. Neither would anyone else. And I would go pay him. Yeah, he's deserving. He got another 1,000 yards. But I'm just saying the chances of him matching that or getting better, that's not easy, Aramis. That's not.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. But what were you saying after he got 1,000 yards and the 6 touchdowns he got last season? What were you saying about Cook?
I honestly was not. I was not impressed.
Okay, most people at that point in time were saying he needs more opportunity. A lot of people were saying he needs more opportunity because they saw the talent, they saw the abilities, they for sure saw the breakaway ability, they saw the speed, they saw the vision and all that kind of stuff with him last year. The last year was more about the disappointment of dropping passes, right?
Yes.
So I get that. But when you look at his running last year, a lot of people were looking at that as you got to give him more opportunities, right? Even though his usage in 2023 was higher than it was in 2024. So James Cook comes in 2024 and does more with less carries, less snap share in a 3-headed monster as opposed to the 2-headed monster he was in the year before. Like, okay. I'm saying all that to say, if you give this man the opportunity, he's shown already that not only can he put up 1,000 yards consistently, but he can put up more production and touchdowns if you put him in position to do so.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought up his year before and the year now. And I think we even talked about this last year at some point. If you look at James Cook the season before last year, my knock on James Cook was a few things. One, he didn't run well between the tackles. He was a little bit light. I felt like his contact balance needed to get better. That was my knock on him.
Yeah.
When last year, I told you, and we talked about this, I felt like James Cook contact balance way better. Yep. I felt like running in between the tackles and his strength way better. Yep. And that's on him, and I give him that credit, and I did. And that's another reason why I felt like they opened it up a little bit more for him in the red zone and all that. And that's why he started seeing the benefits of getting those getting those runs rather than Josh Allen or Ray Davis. Like, he had more opportunity because he showed that, okay, my contact balance better. I worked on this. And that's fine. I'm just saying, I need to see this season the consistency on the touchdowns. Forget the yards. The yards is going to be there. I think James Cook is still 1,000-yard back. I don't think he's a dynamic. I don't see him as a 2,000-yard back. I don't, he's not going to be up there 1,700. I don't see him as that. Not on this offense. Could he be that somewhere else if they give him more opportunity? Quite possibly. I don't know. But here, that he never will be a 1,500, 1,700. I don't see him as that. But I see him as a 1,100, maybe 12, 10 touchdowns, 12. If he could do that, pay him. I'm cool. My thresholds, double digit. If he could do double digit if he does that this year, which to me would make him consistent on the touchdowns, because that's the yards. Forget about it. That to me, that's not impressive. I am not overly impressed with that. I wouldn't pay that kind of money for just 1,000 yards. But if he's getting the touchdowns on top of the 1,000, I'm good with it. Pay him.
I'm gonna make some people some money this season. Check this out. If you're playing fantasy and you have a shot to take James Cook, take him. The quarterbacks that the Bills are playing this season are not that great. All the hard games are at home when they're going to want to run the ball more and control the clock, especially against the bad teams. They're not the type of team that's going to run up the score on teams, so they're not going to be throwing the ball all over the yard. James Cook is going to have so much opportunity to get these touchdowns and yards. That's going to be a guy you want to keep.
And you know what? Maybe so, because I'm going to tell you another thing. He's on a contract year. He's going to want to shine. So I'm with you. It's very possible James Cook has another consistent year, and good for him. And I as a Bills fan, yes, bring it, please. Yeah. All right. So let's move on, because I know now we're getting a little bit late. I know you definitely want to go. Right. For Frank Ragnow retiring from the Lions, bad. Yes, right. We both can agree with that. Ugly getting rid of the chain gang in the name of science. What do you think about that, real quick?
I'm cool with it. I like new technology coming into the game, speeding things up, making it more efficient. Okay.
Let's see how it works. Because I'm not totally sold on it. I got to see it in action. But I'm with you. If as long as it works, right? You know what I mean? We'll find out. JJ McCarthy, chance of being a star, good. I'm not sold on him like a lot of people are. I got to see it. I'm here in Detroit. We'll see. I'm not totally sold on JJ. I got to be totally honest with you guys. Bad what the 2025 Bengals defense is about to be. Totally agree. You agree? Because man, I don't get what they're doing.
Yeah,
I
not
don't.
be good. Nope.
Yeah, I don't understand. Ugly. Everything about George Pickens trade. You agree?
Yeah. Not for the Cowboys. Cowboys did great.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna get to the last thing of the night, and that's the Real Men of Genius, and we're getting out of here. So I'm gonna play this. And sorry, I didn't get to the AI thing. Ask AI. We've been doing the Ask AI thing every week. Man, I should just do one. Let's do one. All right, let's do one. I know you've been on here a while. But let's do one because the chat loves the AI. And if you got an AI question, and I got one, and it's been a debate, and it's been something I feel like that is really not talked about. And I bring it up a lot, dude. Bruce Smith's sack record. Like, I feel like it's just so underappreciated. Like, I feel like nobody talks about that one record that I don't think anyone's going to ever beat it, ever. So let's ask AI. Let's ask AI, and then chat. If you got a question, bring it up. And Aramis, if you do have one, we'll do it. We'll hit it, and then we'll do the real man, and we'll get out of here. All right. Will Bruce Smith sack record ever be broken? All right, here we go. Look, I put Sace record. Boy, good old Sace record. You don't know about that Sace record? All right, let's see. All right, here we go. Let's see what AI says. And I don't go through the whole thing. I just get to the bottom.
Gotcha.
So we won't. Yeah. So
they're writing a whole thesis right now. Jeez.
No, this is fun. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. It's awesome, man. I love it because it does give you a lot of real, like, when you read it, it's like, yeah, I get it. All right, here we go. Conclusion. While it's possible for Bruce Smith's 200 sack record to be broken, it would require an extraordinary player with a rare combination of elite skill, durability, and a career spanning nearly 2 decades. The modern NFL pass-heavy nature offers more sack opportunities, but faster quarterback releases, advanced offensive line play, and player safety rules present significant hurdles. Current players like TJ Watt or Myles Garrett could theoretically approach the record, but they would need to defy the odds of injury and career length. Many fans and analysts, as seen in discussions on X and web sources, lean toward the record standing for a long time. It's not forever due to its unique demands. Ultimately, while never is a strong word, the record's durability makes it one of the most formidable in NFL history. So that's my point. Like, bro, you got to remember, man, a lot of these players now, and I'm talking about the star players, Aramis, bro, they understand. They're like, NFL takes a toll on your body, mentally, physically, your brain, all that shit. A lot of these players get the fuck out. Why? Because they're going on podcasts. They're getting paid to do going on CBS or Fox or they bigger money than they made in the NFL.
Yep.
And once bro, then you got the injuries on top of it. Bro, I just don't see it happening. Like, it looks great when you look at some of these guys early on. You're like, oh man, JJ Watt, remember him? Whoa, he's coming. 15 sacks, 4 straight, and then boom, injury, boom, nothing.
Barely made it 10 seasons.
right. I just don't see it. Like, and not to mention this, I also want less games when Bruce Smith played.
Yeah.
Less games a season. And he still has, and we're adding more games. Probably adding another. And I still don't think it's going to happen. Aramis, you got any questions for AI tonight? Yeah. Anything on your mind?
Who asked this question? I like the question Juice. Yeah, I like the question Juice just asked. Who will be the best rookie?
Who will be the best Buffalo Bills rookie this year? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right. Who best Buffalo Bills rookie in 2025? Ooh, look at me. All right. All right, here we go. Let's see. Top contender says Harrison. Let's see here. Oh, we got some challenges, though. There's the weight. I don't like it. TJ Sanders. Let's scroll to the bottom here, and we'll get to the conclusion. Landon Jackson is another guy I like a lot, too. I think he has I think he is a kind of not a project player, but I do think he needs a little bit more work. You know what I mean? That's I think this camp, the camp's coming up, is going to really help in training camp. Like, I think that's a player that can really develop well. Walker, okay. Okay, prediction. Maxwell Harrison is the most likely to be the Bills' best rookie in 2025 due to his high draft status, immediate opportunity to start, and fit in critical area of need. The Bills' secondary was a weak point in 2024, and Harrison's speed and cover skills position him to make an instant impact. Potentially starting opposite Christian Benford, his ability to compete for a starting role out of training camp, as noted by Bean, gives him a higher ceiling than rotational players like Sanders or Jackson. If Harrison secures a CB2 spot and performs at an average to above average level, he could lead the rookie class in impact. With potential for one or two interceptions and 8 to 10 pass breakups, Sanders and Jackson's are close contenders, but their rotational roles may limit their statistical output compared to Harrison's potential as a starter. What do you think about that?
I could see that. I could see how they say that. I mean, I think that's just about everybody's stance. I actually like Deion Walker's chances, to be perfectly honest. I think his size and ability, if the back injury doesn't bother him that much, with everything that he possesses talent-wise, I would for sure put him up there, beyond even TJ Sanders in terms of being the best rookie.
Okay. I'm with you. Spin says a great comment and being a nice guy tonight. The only reason I watch this garbage podcast is for the AI segment. How can Aramis be so jaded on Sean McDermott? Oh, that's an AI question. Let's see if you're on here. I was on here. I couldn't believe it. Let's see here. And we'll get out of here. This is the last question, and we'll get to the last thing, and then we're out of here. All right. Why? You're on here. Why is Aramis from Post Podium Podcast hating McDermott? Let's see if you're.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh, you're the foul. You're the hair. It got your last name and everything, boy.
Wow.
Look at this. Has expressed critical views of the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott, particularly focusing on his performance and decision making in high stake games. Based on available information from the podcast content and related sources, the criticism appears to stem from a combination of fan frustration and specific grievances about McDermott's coaching record, especially in the postseason. Here's a detailed breakdown of the likely reasons behind Fournier's that's your last name.
It's French.
Podcast. It says postseason failures, number one, and high profile
they
losses.
don't even say my first name. It's just my last name everywhere.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Now they're just mad at you. They're just like, this guy. Here's his phone.
In real life.
Here's his phone here.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez.
So let's see if you agree with this. Do you agree with number one, postseason failures and high profile losses?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. 13 seconds. You're not happy about that?
Not at all.
Oh, look, again, for Nears, like perspective. It says number two, questionable in-game decisions. Sound right to you?
Wait,
you don't like the. You didn't like to.
A self-described voice of the. Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow.
Whoa, look at
I
this.
haven't said that before, too, boy.
Whoa, look, I'm going to highlight that. You are the voice of the objective Buffalo Bills. Congrats. See, what was I? I was the prominent voice of Bills Mafia.
Yeah, that's right.
You are the objective Buffalo Bills fan. You're the voice of the pissed off Bills fans.
That's right.
Congratulations, bro. Aramis, congratulations, man. That's a big honor. I really like that. So, questionable in-game decisions. You don't like that. Fan frustration, close, but that's not enough for Aramis. I like it, and I'm with him. Cultural. I can't even pronounce that. Say it for me.
Cultural and leadership critiques.
Yeah. You know. Oh, look about the toll. Boy, he knows everything about you. About the Tyler Dunn.
Good stuff.
Boy, yeah, man. Expectations. Let's see what it says at the very end here. Conclusion. Aramis criticism of Sean McDermott on the post-podium podcast likely centers on McDermott's postseason failures, questionable in-game decisions, and inability to deliver a Super Bowl despite having Josh Allen. These views align with broader fan frustrations as seen in sources like Reddit and Barstool Sports, which highlight specific moments like the 13 seconds game. However, McDermott's regular season success and player support suggests he's not without merit. And Aramis, he keeps saying her last name, perspective may overlook these strengths in favor of playoff shortcomings. For specific episodes of quotes from you can check the Post Podium podcast on platforms like Amazon or YouTube. Look at that, even plugging you. Even giving you a plug.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, man. So that was great. Spin says self-describe as an objective Buffalo Bills fan. Keyword self-describe.
Shut up, Spin.
All right, guys, we're going to get to this thing and we're getting out of here. So we're going to play the Real Men of Genius and we're out of here. Hey,
I'm everywhere, Spin. I'm everywhere.
2 hours and 30 minutes, man. You were the man today. Appreciate you sticking with me. So here we go. Real Men of Genius. We're going to be playing this every Friday night for you guys at the end of the episode. Here we go. First one.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Pro Sports Heckler Guy.
Mr. Pro Sports Heckler Guy.
They say those who can't play, coach. Apparently those who can't coach sit 30 rows back, shirtless, shouting obscenities.
Oh, that's right, motherfucker.
Thanks to you, our team is armed with game-winning tips like catch the ball and throw it.
Shout it out now.
You stink. That sucks. What a bunch of losers. Not just catcalls, but subtle psychological ploys to prod your team to victory.
Reverse psychology.
So here's to you, old Sultan of Shouting, because while there may be no I in team, thanks to you, there's always an F and a U. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah. I like how it says like the game tips: throw the ball, catch the ball. You know what? It's so funny because it's true. Catch the damn ball. You suck.
What the hell is reverse that power G? What the hell? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that was good.
Anyways, guys, man, hey, Aramis, thank you again, once again. Where can they find you at, man?
Post Podium Podcast. We are everywhere that you look for podcasts in general. Amazon, iTunes, wherever. We're everywhere. So we prefer if you hit us up on YouTube so you can get all the notifications and all the cool stuff that we offer there. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m., by the way.
Actually, no, it's 5:30 to 7:30 now.
I was trying to get him to watch mine.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I forgot about that.
I'm just joking. Mondays and Fridays at 5:30. Mondays and Fridays at 5:30. Catch Aramis and Keys. And they're also on the Fan Base Network as well. So go ahead and support them, man. They're doing great things over at Post Podium. So, guys, once again, chat, you guys were great tonight. Appreciate you guys rocking with us for 2 hours and 30 minutes, a little bit longer than I expected. I told Aramis I'm going to get you out of here under 2. Didn't happen, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you for rocking with us. Bills Mafia, you're the best. And as always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Sports.